I'm so glad we decided to do 8 instead of 10. I couldn't have waited another 2 hours.
Seriously. If we were to do 10, the friggin' lotto would have been pushed back.
Yeah.
That'll do. No, there's no glare. There's just a cover. There's just a blanket on a TV.
Casual.
I'm getting back to
I guess I better pull this. I mean, this is just my Mac one, but I've got a nice light, so it makes it look better. Once I get my streaming stuff back, then I'll be back to glory. Hey, what's the matter with them? Are we going live right at 8, or are we live right now?
I'm about to go live.
If you hear the music, we're already live. You guys not hear the music?
Pull the stream up. I don't hear music.
Oops. Now do you hear it? Whatever.
Negative.
That's fine.
It's alright.
Ladies and gentlemen, be highly surprised if there's any ladies in here, but ladies and gentlemen, here we are at one of the most important days of the year, and that is the Better League Team Reveal Spectacular. I'm your standard host, CMass, on Better League Network. Joined, you see the other two gentlemen in here, face cams and all. Bottom, you see the handsome ass mother Connor with no ring on his finger. Connor, you can't represent the ring, bro.
I can't, we got to get that tradition going, Alex. And yeah, I mean, I've just been looking forward to this for months and months, honestly. Now, I was locked in for the entire Madden 21 cycle. I was locked in for that 7th season, that asterisk season, if you'll listen to Austin. But as soon as that playoff game against Lil Alex ended, this is what I've been waiting for. It's finally here. Let's get to it.
And also joined here by Cody, young son Cody, looking at fine as hell with the backwards hat per usual. How you feeling tonight, buddy?
Feeling good. Excited to see these results. I'm sure we'll get into this a little bit more, but, being the only person other than, the only person in this booth here in the dark, hoping to have some good classic moments like we did last year, and some, just some general Cody hype. That's just what we bring.
That's how we do it. Cam already coming out hot with 5 gifted subs. I got to say, first off, fantastic job to Dan this morning on another successful lottery show. And y'all went nuts, dude. We started off this morning with 14 subs, and we were already up to 46 before we even started the show. Now over 50 in, whatever time span that is. Connor looking like Peyton Manning, says Justin. Justin, I thought you weren't going to be here. Okay, we were really looking forward to a stream without Justin. Okay, first off, that's unfortunate. We're gonna be all over chat today. There's gonna be guest coaches coming in. Just a reminder, guys, Discord is open. All right, so when you are selected, when you are revealed, hop into Discord. Don't say anything yet, but hop into Discord, and then once your full division is revealed, we'll go ahead and ask you guys to the questions who are all in there. So make sure if you have the opportunity to do so, face cam not required, but preferred. Hop on in here. Caden hit us with the follow. Caden, welcome to the league and welcome to the follow. Cody, going ahead and gifting a sub to Cloud. Cloud finally back in here. Mayara says Cody looks like the lead singer of Simple Plan. And then he pops on the gold chain for a little bit of razzle dazzle. All right. Oh, God.
Oh my God. I can't compete with that. It's already over for me. Might as well turn off the face cam.
Oh, man. Okay, well, let's go ahead and jump right into it then. So we're going to go ahead and pull up this beautiful PowerPoint, Google slide, whatever you want to call it, that Mr. Cody Youngsung has put together. We're only rocking 13 viewers, kind of disappointing me. We'll get some more as we go along. Just a reminder, we just popped to 32. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, guys, okay? No spoilers in the chat, okay? Try your very best. No spoilers in the Slack chat because a lot of people aren't able to watch this live as Morty just gifts 5 subs. Thank you so much. 31. Yep. Austin, I got it figured out. Appreciate it as the hype train is starting to roll. Appreciate y'all. But let's go ahead and get rolling in here and kind of get, I feel like I'm forgetting something already because I'm working like 6 different things at once. Connor, anything that I'm forgetting as far as with today's show?
Well, yeah, I mean, just to reiterate what C-Matt said, as we start pairing teams to users, it may become very clear to you which team you got. Just make sure, until it's announced, do not spoil anything. It makes it fun for the rest of us. Oh my God, Taint and Finn. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
there's just too many gifted subs going on.
Blowing it up.
I'm freaking out right now, but thank you all for that. But
I wonder where my
let me see.
What's our thoughts
and
on?
Also,
what's our thoughts? Should we say maybe like make an alert? I think I just sent it anyways, or no, I haven't sent it yet. Like, what should we say? Like maybe people wait 12 hours, 24 hours to change their profiles or something, because everyone's gonna want to start going in there and put their profile and make it their team name and all that. What do you guys think?
I'd say when y'all wake up tomorrow morning, that's when you can make the transition.
I feel like that's fair. When you wake up in the morning feeling like $1 million, that's when you can go ahead and get it switched over. So we just tons of gifted subs. Taint just gave a gifted sub to my burner from when we were trying to get 50 followers. So yeah, that's how low we are on the sub counts or on the follower counts that we're gifting subs to. We're already level 507%. So y'all are nuts right now. But let's go ahead and jump right into it, guys. We're gonna go ahead and get rolling. There it is. Alert box working again. We're gonna go ahead and get right into it, and I might actually have to just shut her down. I'll just have to alert you guys later because there's gonna be a lot of talking going on. All right, let's get rolling. I'm already ready to do this. All right, we're gonna go in order, alphabetical order, guys. All right, so it's going to be AFC East, NFC East, and so on and so forth, okay? So we're going to go ahead and kick it off with the AFC East. Guys, this is what we've been waiting for. I'm already, I feel like my finger is shaking on this enter button to move to the next slide. Are you guys fucking hyped, bro? You guys fucking hyped?
I'm hyped. I mean, we know what it is, and I'm still hyped. This is what we've all been waiting for.
Hit me with the AFC East in the chat, bro. Hit me with it. Come on, Connor.
Wait, you telling me to? Well, sorry.
Fucking just yell. Give me hype, Connor.
All right, I'm ready. Fuck your AFCs with the chat. We got 7 more that's coming.
All right, let's go. I don't know about all that, but let's go ahead and get rolling here, okay, guys? AFC East. This is the slide right here. As you can see, all the logos on the screen as we go along. The names will appear on the logo for the team you are. You know the drill. We're here in the AFC East. We're starting from top left, and then we're going to Miami, to New England, and then finally to the New York Jets. So we're going to go ahead and start it off with the Buffalo Bills, the first team to be announced on Madden 22 Better League team reveal, and that is going to go to my man Cam, one of the biggest supporters a Better League Network, first one to be revealed, and that little parentheses number is the number that he selected them. It was the 8th overall pick. Cam got the Buffalo Bills. Connor, your thoughts?
What a start here. Obviously, great team. A user who has a lot of heart, a Shepley Hotel brother, a Miami brother. You absolutely love to see it. This is a team that's got a lot of talent on both sides of the ball, CMAS. I mean, it's, one that young Alex was able to team build very well, even though he absolutely picked his abilities. He was still able to team build very, very well on both sides of the ball, get the roster to something that, allowed him to compete with everyone except for Austin, apparently. There's a lot of talent. The wide receiving core, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be quite as good at Madden as it is going to be in real life necessarily, because you got a lot of kind of slow route runners, which, can be effective in Madden if you have the right scheme, but for what Cam likes to do, I'm not sure if that's necessarily what he needs. Cole Beasley, for example, Gabriel Davis, Stephon Diggs, who's a beast, but, he won't necessarily burn you a whole ton. But the one guy to watch out for, Gregory Rousseau, he was drafted out of Miami this last year, opted out of 2020 due to COVID, but 2019, he was second in sacks, only behind Chase Young. I think they're going to give him star dev, and he's only 21, so look for him to be a really good dev'd pass rusher moving forward. I like the matchup for Cam, and I'm excited to see him with that Bills team.
Cody, your thoughts, my brother?
Yeah, I think this is exciting for Cam. I obviously Cam was the Jags last year. I want to say this past cycle, I want to say in 20, maybe another, maybe like kind of what some would describe as below average teams. So Cam, I think in back-to-back cycles, wanted to have the challenge of just kind of like building up a roster. And really did pretty good both times. Unfortunately, wasn't able to have a lot of success maybe in the postseason. So I'm really excited to see what Cam can do with this Bills roster that really can compete day one. And I think that's going to be really cool.
I'm super excited for Cam to get this team. Buffalo, very solid team. You saw what little Alex was able to do with them, and they were much worse overall last year. This year, we anticipate they'll do a lot better since they represented we're in the AFC Championship game in real life, so I'd expect them to do pretty well. They did good in the draft, and then Josh Allen's just an absolute stud. Let's go ahead and move forward to the next team to be released, and that is the Miami Dolphins. It was Nico last year. This year happens to be another roadie, and that is Fern, who got them with the 24th overall pick. Fern able to go ahead and steal the Dolphins away. Connor, your thoughts?
We're having some technical difficulties over here, but we're all good. We know what Fern is capable of if you put the right roster around him. Shout out to Jared, who built just an absolute dominant force with the Cleveland Browns in Madden 20. Fern, I think, due to the cycle he had with the Lions and due to the fact that he was never really, able to get that roster kind of operationalized, I think he's being a little bit slept on potentially heading into Madden 22. I think he's maybe a bit better than the bottom feeder that, some users potentially see him as due to the cycle he had. This Dolphins team is a really interesting one. Obviously, it was very young in Madden 21. It's going to be, still pretty young in Madden 22. Really excited to see how he utilizes Jalen Waddle, maybe the best deep threat coming out of the draft, at least in terms of, speed, acceleration, etc. And Lord knows that Tua has the arm to get it to him. So I'm really excited to see what Fern does. I think he's kind of like a sleepy contender potentially. Obviously, we only know two teams, so we don't know how deep the AFC is yet. But he's kind of a bit of a sleepy contender in my opinion. We'll see what he's able to do. I'm excited for him. A roadie, a great user, and we'll see what he's able to do.
Absolutely, Cody, your thoughts?
Yeah, this is exciting and surprising. The Dolphins dropping all the way down to 24 is it's pretty criminal if you ask me. I'm not sure what the other maybe middle. Obviously, when you get kind of the top 5, people are going to get theirs when you're in like the top 10, probably. But like 10 to 24 is a little surprising to me that the Dolphins dropped that far. I mean, if you're Fern, you have to be ecstatic. You have a young quarterback. You have a lot of young players in this roster. There's a lot of room to grow, a lot of room to compete. For me personally, I was a guy, I had the Dolphins in my top 10. So I am surprised to see him get it all the way down to 24. And so if I'm Fern, I'm ecstatic right now, because you're thinking when you're at 24, you're like, oh gosh, I'm going to get some scrap team I got to work with. I mean, the Dolphins at 24 is a blessing, if you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely. If I was somebody that had the 24th pick and I was able to go ahead and get the Dolphins, I mean, that's a pretty solid roster there. And an AFC East, which, the Jets roster is not that great. The Patriots roster is not that great. We don't know who the users are yet, but the rosters themselves aren't that great. And Cam, pretty solid user there. Just a reminder, Fern and Cam, feel free to come into the Discord. We'll have interviews after the release of this whole division. Come in here. The water's fine. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. The New England Patriots, I mentioned as a teaser before this started, there was one team that got the same exact team they had last year. That happens to be this one, as Austin, the 8-time Super Bowl champion, able to go ahead and at the 7th overall selection, able to go ahead and snag the New England Patriots for the second year in a row. Connor, your thoughts?
I feel like the entire building's just like, oh god, here we go again. I mean, you pair Austin with his favorite team again. I know he's going to have kind of a renewed hunger about him heading into Madden 22. You know, looking to continue to prove people wrong after the slander that a lot of people, including myself, put on him before the Madden 21 cycle. So I know his hunger. I know he's waiting. This is a better day one roster than it was heading into Madden 21. I'll be honest with you. You know, the Patriots went crazy in free agency. Bill Belichick signed a whole lot of guys, whole lot of potential weapons, especially on the offensive side in free agency. I really like. I really like some of the draft picks they made, and I'm sure Cam and Fern were feeling pretty good about being in each other's division, but the shoe just dropped. Here we are, Austin, the Patriots, still with his favorite team. He's going to be an instant Super Bowl contender. We know this.
Cody.
Yeah, I mean, I caught some wind that maybe Austin wanted to run it back. I didn't think he would actually do it, but here we are, and he's doing it. And so I think, to me, here's what I think this is. I think he's familiar with the pieces. He just had a lot of success. I think Austin's a guy that wants to just continue to win and just kind of be a dominant force in this league and kind of show people like, hey, you forgot about me. Kind of that story we talked about in Madden 20 a little bit. And so this can be a dangerous team. Obviously, I mean, we know what Austin can do. We've seen it already. And as Connor was saying, this is a better roster. My guess is the reason that he felt kind of hyped and excited to maybe run it back was my guess is he's going to ride Mac Jones. So he knows he doesn't have to draft a quarterback, just like I did with kind of the Bengals. Your team gets a rookie quarterback, and you're like, all right, let's do this. Let's build this guy up. And so. We'll see what happens, but makes it a little bit scary that, we could see Mac Jones as a superstar X factor within season 2 or 3, whereas we didn't see Davis until 4 or 5 or something like that. And Austin had still won plenty of Super Bowls before then. So we'll see what happens, but this is looking a bit scary.
Yeah, absolutely. Our Dan already in the chat saying Mac Jones is the next Matthew Davis ? Potentially. Caden asked if somebody could send him the Discord channel in Slack. If somebody could do that, I appreciate it, so he can come on a little bit later. Okay. All right, this is going to be the first surprise here. Okay. New York Jets. Okay. I feel bad for little Alex, man. I feel bad. The odds of him getting the Jets were pretty slim and being the same exact division as Austin. So I feel really bad for him, but little Alex, it looks like you're going to be stuck here with the New York Jets. I'm just kidding. It's actually King who thought King thought he was going to get the Texans. Turns out he got his 3rd overall pick at 32. King gets the Jets. Somehow survives not getting the Texans. Let's go ahead and get Connor's thoughts.
This is already sending a ripple effect through the whole thing. If King didn't get the Texans, then who did? We'll have to wait and see, ladies and gentlemen. But man, oh man, doesn't Zach Wilson remind you a little bit of Levi K-Son? He's got the wheels, he's got the throw power. It feels like a pretty natural transition, at least offensively, for King. I have always, it's interesting. The end of cycle awards I did with Justin and Little Alex, King was the only one who got multiple votes for most overrated user and most underrated user. So what that tells me, is that the league doesn't really know what to make of King. He was consistently competitive in the best division in the league last year. Y'all voted on it, the only 4 deep division. And I personally think that, again, you put the right circumstances, the right situation around King, he could potentially compete. He'll never be a favorite for the Super Bowl, but he could compete for the Super Bowl. This is not the right situation. I say all that to say, this Jets roster is going to need a lot of work. King, a solid rebuilder, a solid team builder, I should say. I don't know if anyone necessarily thinks of him as like the best GM in the world, unless he's, trading with Ryan, which is always slanted in his favor, but it is what it is. And he's in division with Austin, so he's going to have a tough go of it. It's a bit of an uphill climb for him, but I'm sure he's glad to be in a division where he doesn't have to, have 6 tough division games a year anymore. Now it's just, 2 or potentially 4, depending on how you feel about Fern or Cam, so... King, I think, will be happy to not be the Texans, ultimately. I'm sure that's all he's thinking right now.
Yeah. Cody?
Yeah, I think this is so far the first shock so far of the lotto or the reveal, and we're only at the first division here. King was obviously pretty convinced that he had the Texans, and so I think he's going to be hyped up. I think what is going to help King is he's a guy that maybe sometimes in chat will say like, oh, I'm going to get beat by this person. I'm going to get beat by this person. We always tend to say that from time to time, but I really think King goes into every game with confidence, and that's exactly what you need to do playing a guy like Austin. And so I think King really is in a really good position. Obviously, he's going to have to do some work with that roster. He gets a rookie quarterback, obviously, in Zach Wilson. And so, he's going to have some GMing, some team building to do. But if there's anyone that would get into a division and, be like, listen, I'll go challenge Austin, it's going to be a guy like King that plays with some confidence, plays with some swagger, not afraid to talk crap. So I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this division here. I feel like, and we're going to talk a little bit about this division, let the guys have a chance to pop in. King, Austin, Cam, Fern, feel free to do so. Come into the Discord. We can ask you some questions, and then keep your eyes on the bottom of the screen. You'll see the team ticker that'll be updated throughout the reveal. You can see now the AFC East coming up has already been updated. So if you guys come in midway through, you'll be able to see the teams that have already been revealed, as we have our first coach already come in here, and that is Mr. Cam, the new Buffalo Bills. Cam, let's just go ahead and start off and get your thoughts, man.
I'm just happy to not be in a division with Justin anymore. That's number one. I'm going to be completely honest on that one.
Yeah. I feel you on that. What else, man? Tell us a little bit about your team. I mean, why'd you have the Buffalo Bills? I mean, 8th overall pick, and you were able to get the Buffalo Bills. Why did you have them so high on your list?
I put the Bills high on my list because I was choosing a team that's not going to get destroyed before the season started, like last cycle.
Yeah.
That was the main reason I put the teams I put towards the top were teams that were not going to get torn down, that I could actually start with something.
Yeah.
And plus, absolutely. I like Bills Mafia.
Yeah. And that's probably the coolest part of being the Bills is that Bills Mafia. I'm a little disappointed little Alex never ran with the Bills Mafia in maybe like his Twitter or anything like that, and maybe created like a Bills Mafia fan page or something like that, just talking mad shit or something like that. That would have been pretty legit. Hoping that you can get a little creative with that, Cam. I mean, Cody Connor, you got any your questions for the new coach of the Buffalo Bills?
I mean, I don't know if any immediate questions come to mind. I'm just, I'm so happy for you, Cam. Again, as you said, that you're not in a division with Justin anymore. And I'll just reiterate. I think there's a really good fit for you. There's a lot of demons, a lot of beasts on the defensive side of the ball over there. So, you've got two tough offensive users over there in Austin and King, but you've got the right team around you to shut them down. So figure out the scheme, and I'll give you a puncher's chance against anyone.
Yeah, I think for me, do you have any? Do you have any initial thoughts on your team that you're thinking of? Here's where I kind of want to focus, or anything like that, or are you just gonna load the game up and see what happens?
Gonna be 100% honest. Never looked at the roster.
Hey, that's all right.
All right. Well,
I just went with teams that were solid, and that I knew were not going to tear it apart. Had some jersey combinations I could go with. Had a cool fan base, and I didn't care who was on the roster. Didn't even know who they drafted this year.
Actually, Connor actually broke it down a little bit for you. Got yourself a pass rusher, Mr. Greg Rousseau out of Miami. Some great analytics there from Connor out of the U, not Florida Gators. So, Cam, I appreciate you coming on, man. I don't know who this fifth person is. Oh, it's King. King. Okay. Welcome, man. You saved yourself from the Texans and somehow snagged your third overall team, man. What are your thoughts right now?
I think they were my number 2 overall team. I thought Dan fucked me, yo. He did it. Let's go.
Yeah, somehow you were able to pull them out. I was watching, and me and Connor were going through, and you can watch later. It'll be posted on YouTube as we were putting the list together. And I was seeing that you were the only person who really had the Jets high, and they were still available. I was like, King's going to somehow get the Jets here, and he's going to be so confused when we do the team reveal show. And all day, I wanted to make you feel better, because I knew your heart was broken. You were thinking you're getting the Texans, and I just wanted to just like King, I wanted to grab your hand, like, King, you're not the Texans, man. You're a good team. You're a team you wanted to be. Tell me, as soon as that name King popped up on the Jets, man, what were your thoughts?
Honestly, I had a feeling, but I didn't want to say shit. I didn't want to blow it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the little teasers, I kind of had a feeling and then when it said top 16, I looked at all my teams in the top 16. And I told Kaden the only team that could possibly fall is the Jets, but I didn't think they would because of Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
So I was kind of convinced I had the Texans, but I'm excited, man. I'm super excited. I can't. How does the Texans not go 32? Like, how the hell am I the Jets, man?
Somehow pulled it out, man. I appreciate it. And for time's sake, we're going to go ahead and move forward because we got a lot of teams we got to get through here. So Cam, King, thank you so much for coming on. Fern, Austin, you missed your chance, but congratulations on your new teams. Let's go ahead and go back to the
Austin, we're coming.
Yeah. Calling out Austin already. Yeah. So he had King at 3. King had Jets at 3, Dan. He had them at 3rd overall team. He was, pretty excited. I'd be excited to get them at 32. But let's go ahead and move forward. We're now at the NFC East. So you can go ahead and we're going to go pull it up on this screen here. All right. As you can see, we're going to start off with the Cowboys and work our way around with the Cowboys. Somebody who, not King, is a big Cowboys fan, but I know this person is a big Cowboys fan, and that's Mr. Chase, who got them with the 10th overall selection. Connor, your thoughts on Chase getting his team?
Hey, what do some of y'all newer users know about Chase's user linebacker? I mean, he's been historically the best defensive user with his linebackers in the league, bar none. I don't feel like that's a particularly controversial take. And he's got 2 guys that he can use who are going to be really fast and really, really effective. I know the user's been nerfed a little bit, but I think Chase is still going to, potentially lead the league here with interceptions. Some of these linebackers, Micah Parsons out of Penn State, he's got a whole lot of athleticism. I think Madden's going to, give him some nice attributes, give him some nice physical ratings. And Leighton Vander Esch, who he used to just, I think it was in Madden 19 where he used to just terrorize the league with Vander Esch, just, multiple interceptions over the middle of the field every day. So, and that's not even mentioning all the offensive weapons he has. Obviously, I think they're still going to give Dak Prescott some respect, especially coming off of the injury. They'll still make him, a pretty decent Madden quarterback. Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, who you can still dev, Michael Gallup. Chase just got a lot of weapons, man. And he hasn't won a Super Bowl, but one could argue he's, one of the very best users in this league to have not won a Super Bowl. So he's going to be real competitive, I think, with this Cowboys team, and I'm excited to see how he does. I love Chase.
Go to your thoughts, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think definitely you're right on there, Connor. Chase is definitely one of the, probably elite top 5 users or whatever you want to call it to not win a Super Bowl yet in the better league. Definitely feels like, his moment could be here. You got your favorite team that gives you a little bit more juice. Happened to me this year. This past year, season 1 with the Bengals, just gives you a little bit of hype, a little bit of excitement. You want to bring one home. We know this Cowboys roster does have talent. Obviously, they weren't super successful last year, but we know that one of the main, Madden ratings guys is a Cowboys fan, so he's always going to make a bunch of 99s on that team. So that just kind of is what it is, So we know there's going to be that team's still going to be stacked, even though they won like 6 games last year or something like that. And so I'm excited to see what Chase can do. I think the big question will be how locked in is Chase. That will be the big question. Obviously, some of us older guys in the league know you get older, you get more responsibilities, you get married, you have kids, all these different types of stuff. You own a house. So the question is, how locked in is Chase? Can we see him get back to his old form when maybe he had less responsibilities, is able to grind a little bit more? Or maybe, is everything just kind of the perfect storm? He locks in and gets a ring. We'll see. But I'm excited for this.
Absolutely. The Chase already excited in the chat. Everybody happy for Chase to get his team. Chase says Sean Lee's going to be a 95 overall based on the ratings that they usually get. So congrats to Chase. Let's go ahead and move on to the New York Giants. And personally, I've already forgotten who got them. Oh, I see it now. This guy was one of the biggest fallers in the lottery, able to go ahead and snag himself a spot in the NFC East. And that is Lucky with the 26th overall selection. Able to go ahead and snag the New York Giants. Connor, your thoughts?
Listen, I know no one thinks of this Giants roster as a powerhouse, and you can't call them a powerhouse for sure, but this is a very underrated, I think, Madden roster, especially on offense. They got a whole lot of weapons that don't necessarily translate in real life quite as much just due to various things. Evan Engram with his drops, for example, but this is a pretty dangerous Madden roster, in my opinion, and we know how Lucky likes to, sling the ball. We know how he likes to, both air it out and then, establish the run at the end with Arnett, so he'll be able to get something going here. Obviously, Saquon Barkley is still going to be just an absolute monster in Madden. I think the offense is going to be built around Saquon, likely, at least for the first couple seasons from Lucky's perspective. But, you've also got Kenny Galladay, Darius Slayton, Gator Great, Kadarius Toney, new first-round pick. It's a whole lot of speed, a whole lot of shiftiness kind of in that wide receiving core. And, He's got some good veterans on defense too. I think it's a good fit for him. I'm excited to see what he does. The QB situation will be interesting. Whether he chooses to try to dev Daniel Jones for all he's worth, or whether he goes a different route, maybe in the draft, maybe via trade or whatever. But the Chase Lucky matchup, man, we haven't even announced the other two teams. That's gonna be a good rivalry to look at. I think it's a very balanced matchup in terms of users, and I'm excited for that. Honestly, Cowboys Giants is relevant again.
Cody.
Yeah, this is exciting. And one thing I'll call out, Morty said it in the chat too, but I know this because I've been hurt by this man for the past 4 years. John Ross is also on this New York Giants roster. And so that is someone that, might not have the best rating in the world. might not have the best rating in the world, but probably most likely is still going to be like 96, 97 speed. And so that's someone you can instantly, in terms of Madden, plug in. It's going to be a dangerous weapon. And so, yeah, I'm excited. I think this is going to be really interesting. I think question mark will be, will Lucky ride Daniel Jones, or will maybe he just use him year one and then kind of move on and then maybe get a quarterback via trade, via draft? Obviously, Daniel Jones is now third year in the league. So that's kind of like a weird timeline in terms of Madden, when he's probably not going to have like superstar dev. Maybe he'll be star dev, probably normal dev. So it's like, he might have some decisions in terms of the quarterback there, but there are definitely some pieces on this Giants team. And I agree. I think Lucky, only two teams here, but Lucky versus Chase is an interesting kind of combo matchup there.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Duhooty says that he really thought he had the Giants. We'll get to you here soon, Duhooty. A little tease there. But let's go ahead and move forward to the Philadelphia Eagles here. This is the user that technically got screwed the worst because they had the Eagles as their 26th rated team, which is by far, since we've done the lottery, the furthest I've ever seen somebody get a team. And that is Mr. Nicholas, who was able to go ahead and secure them at the 31st overall spot. Connor, talk about what we can expect from this Eagles team.
Well, results-wise?
Yeah, sure. Well, just tell us about the Eagles team.
Okay. This is a decent, they have decent pieces. Obviously, the cap space continues to be kind of an issue for the Eagles, and a lot of the, especially defensive talent they have is relatively old. It's not necessarily something you can dev and expect to rely on for the entirety of the cycle. Unlike, potentially the Cowboys and Giants with some of their talent, but they still got some good guys. They just drafted Devontae Smith. Y'all know he's going to be an absolute weapon out there. Arguably the best rookie wide receiver there is. Although you could argue, there's another Alabama receiver that may be even better as far as Madden goes. But it's gonna be interesting. I don't know how. Obviously, Nick stayed for the entirety of the cycle. Despite all the losses he took, which is really impressive. The deserving winner of the Hang in Their Butt award. I don't know how committed to team building he's going to be necessarily. So I worry a little bit about the state of this roster moving forward. Just straight up. So we'll have to see how he does with that. But it's one that I think requires a bit more tuning than most. Yeah.
Cody?
Yeah, I think this is interesting here. There's some pieces on this team. That you've got Jalen Hurts. Do you want to use him? He's only second-year quarterback. Might as well probably run with him. Unfortunately, I guess when you look at in terms of Nick, he's not necessarily a guy that's going to develop a quarterback, be one of the best passers in the league. So maybe he uses Jalen Hurts as trade bait to somebody else, to a user that, maybe has an older quarterback that has 3-4 seasons left under their belt or something like that he can plug in. So it'll be interesting to see what Nick does. Obviously, he's a guy that's going to hang around. He's going to play his games, but, we'll see what he can do. Obviously, Chase and Lucky in his division, as of now, he's the clear third. We'll see who the football team is, or who has the football team. But, I think this is cool. I think this is exciting. Getting the Eagles at 31 is definitely not an L.
No, I'm kind of surprised they fell that far. I wasn't a big Eagles Madden fan, but if I was able to get them at 31, I wouldn't be too upset. But let's go ahead and move forward to the Washington football team, a fanless stadium there in the background, as you guys have talked about in the chat a little bit. Rocking 45 viewers now. Let's keep it up, guys. Keep it up. But let's talk about this Washington football team. This is a user last year that made it to multiple AFC championship games but couldn't get over the hump, so he decided to join into the NFC, and that's Mr. Little Alex, able to go ahead and secure them with the 15th overall selection.
Wow.
Little Alex for the Washington football team.
Okay.
Connor, your thoughts?
This defense is tough. I'm going to be honest with you. This is absolutely a top 5 Madden defense. Whole lot of young talent. You got Chase Young, you got Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne, just a whole lot of guys that you can dev. You really can go multiple directions with this defense depending on what you prioritize. he's going to have to work out the QB situation. Obviously, Ryan Fitzpatrick is not the long-term answer. He may not even be the 2021 answer. We'll have to see what he does there as far as, Madden goes, obviously. But I'm interested to see. I mean, obviously, Little Alex is a very solid team builder. Hopefully we crack down a little bit on the whole ability picking thing, because if we do that, then he won't be able to do quite as well necessarily. But I'm excited to see what he does. This is, not to get into divisions because I know we still got the interview coming up, but we got Chase, Lucky, and Little Alex in here, man. This is a solid division. And, 3 rosters with those guys as well that they can take a number of different directions depending on where they want to go. So it's already really interesting.
Cody?
Yeah. This is a very, I think Dan said it. This is an intriguing division to me. I'm excited for Little Alex. I think probably I can't see because what number did he get them at, or what was his
15 is what
15.
they were.
Wow.
He got them at. I think he was listed in his top like 6 or 7.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the football team for me was a top 5 team, and so yeah, I don't know. I think this is very interesting. I think this probably caters to Alex perfectly. We saw him really succeed last year when he had a juice defense and was able to kind of command the defensive side of the ball. Even, we saw him have a little bit of mistakes here and there on offense. So I think this really fits into his scheme perfectly. And so this can be really interesting to me. Lucky is an uncommon opponent for Little Alex. Chase is an uncommon opponent for Little Alex. And so once these guys start kind of playing each other more, let's see how things kind of, I guess playing out or whatever happens here. But I think this is interesting. I'm excited for Little Alex. I think it's a good fit.
Yeah, this is a fantastic division here in the NFC, having Chase, Lucky, Little Alex, and Nick here. I throw Nick in there just because he's on there. But, yeah, Connor didn't forget to mention Jamin Davis, who is a pretty stellar linebacker out of the University of Kentucky. Reminder, guys, I know Lucky is not available to watch the show live, but Chase, Nick, and Little Alex, feel free to join the Discord here. This is your opportunity to talk about your team and your division. I'll give you guys a couple seconds. I did hear somebody just pop in here, and that is Mr. Little Alex. Little Alex,
ready.
Let's go, buddy. Tell me about your team, man.
Let's go, baby. I'm hyped. I had him as my number 3, I believe. And, I got him at 15. I thought they were going to go. I thought I was going to miss out and be stuck with the Falcons, who I definitely regretted putting up high. Sorry, CMS. But I'm excited. Like Cody said, that defense is stacked, and that's really where I started to thrive last year. I couldn't really ever find out, my offensive identity, I guess. I was kind of just, rolling with whatever. But my defense, I feel got more solid over the cycle. So I'm pumped. I'm also an OSU fan. They have, Chase Young, Samuel, McLaurin, whatever. So I'm pumped. I'm really excited to use this team, and I'm excited to find a new quarterback to lead them. That's another thing that I like in my team. Fitzpatrick's there, but I can cut him and dev some young guy and get my guy in there.
Yeah, this is definitely a team that has a lot of solid pieces defensively and offensively. They only really need a quarterback to kind of get rolling. Solid piece, Antonio Gibson in the backfield. So definitely, I heard LSU as well. He's an OSU fan, yeah. So. Anyways, Cody, Connor, you got anything? He seems like he's the only coach that popped in here. So you guys got anything before we let him go?
Just ask you about the matchups, man. I mean, Chase, Lucky, 2 very solid users, 2 users you don't have a lot of familiarity with necessarily. I think, I don't know how many times you played Lucky, but it couldn't have been more than twice. And then, Chase, I'm not sure you've ever played. So just as you see kind of the division and especially, the matchups team-wise, just what are your thoughts on those 2 matchups between Chase and Lucky?
Well, Chase was in my division last year.
Okay. I wasn't listening.
Yeah,
I was very
with a trash roster from season 6 after 4 other guys.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I am pleased with my division. Usually, like Connor, I like to have one top tier, one guy that I can consistently beat, and then one kind of just. I'm not going to say trash can, but one lower tier user. So I think this is the perfect division. Maybe a little top heavy because I know Lucky got really solid near the end of the cycle, and Chase historically has been pretty good. But I'm excited. It's nothing too extreme, him, that guy who kind of owned me. But it's definitely going to not be a cakewalk, and I think it's going to be a really fun cycle.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pressure a little bit. Who wins the division? Season 1. Who wins the division? Season 1.
Division season 1. Clip it.
Who?
I'm winning the division season 1. Clip it.
You heard it here. I mean, what a hot take that the team that won the division in real life will end up winning the division here in the first season. But thank you, Alex, for coming on. Chase said he's too old to figure out Discord and how to get on here. So advantage little Alex already. Appreciate you coming on, but let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and get back to the PowerPoint here. Thank you, Lil Alex, again for joining on. Now we're going to pop on to the AFC North. Again, like we said before, it's alphabetical order, so now we're on to the Norths here. All right,
Near
AFC
and dear to
North.
my heart.
Yeah, both of you guys. This is a near and dear to your heart division. This is I guess, the weather division, as some people like to say. We'll start it off with the Baltimore Ravens. Chase says, "Fire me up, baby." We'll go ahead and get your fart up, baby. All right. Baltimore Ravens started off. This is a team a lot of people had. Number one team. The person that's able to go ahead and secure that team was myself, CMAS, able to go ahead and get them with the 4th overall pick. Connor, your thoughts on the Baltimore Ravens team?
In retrospect, it's good that you traded for Lamar Jackson for season 7 because now you've got a season of practice with them under his belt. I mean, this would be a great roster, great user. Obviously, made multiple Super Bowls last cycle. They kind of revamped the receiving core a little bit up there in Baltimore. I think they realized that just no one was getting separation last season. So they added Sammy Watkins, they added Rashad Bateman, the new rookie wide receiver, and I'm just really excited. This is obviously a roster with a lot of potential. Y'all don't need me to tell you that. I mean, I think everyone knows that about the Ravens, but it's just your continued ability to kind of learn how to use Lamar Jackson, learn how to use that mobility that no one else has or is going to have for the entire rest of the cycle. I'm excited to see how you do, and I mostly just want to hear your thoughts once we get to the division. I don't have a ton more other than that.
Yeah, let's get to Cody first.
Yeah, I think this is exciting. The Ravens have been a pretty doomed team in Better League for quite some time here, ever since Lamar Jackson has gotten in. I don't know what it is. It just always seems like it ended up being in the hands of a user that maybe wasn't as capable or didn't stick around or whatever it may be. But I'm excited. I think this is gonna be really cool. I obviously I am in the dark, but was talking to some league members, and now seeing that you here are number 4, or got the Ravens at number 4. There was some speculation that maybe this was the division of death. So we'll see. We'll see.
We shall see. Caden in the chat says Bateman's a stud. I hope they don't hoe him on speed. I also hope they don't hoe him on speed. But if they did, that's a big reason why we're one of my top teams. So much speed on offense. Obviously, Lamar Jackson, J.K. Dobbins, Hollywood Brown. They've got Duvernay. A lot of speed on offense and defense. Very excited to get this team at the 4th overall selection. You'll be able to see my excitement later when we post a YouTube video of the selections as they happened. But let's go ahead and move on. Duhooty is in the chat. He says, "Well, there goes my chance to trade for Lamar." Yeah, sorry about that, Duhooty, but now you'll have the opportunity to play against him because you're the Cincinnati Bengals there at number 27 overall, getting the Cincinnati Bengals. Connor, your thoughts?
Cody obviously knows far, far more about this roster than I do, so I'm going to keep this brief and let him kind of carry the analysis here. But this is a retooled defensive line from what it was heading into Madden 21. Everyone was talking about, the Bengals O-line, but the D-line was just not getting pressure last year. And Cody, I'm sure you know that as well. They finished dead last in sacks. They were 31st, second last in QB pressures. So that was really what they focused on. They got Trey Hendrickson. That was kind of like the major signing there, a very capable pass rusher. So at least the D-line is going to be better, I believe, than it was for Cody heading into Madden 21. Duhooty, very, very solid user. Beat me in the playoffs, unfortunately, but other than that, wasn't really able to kind of establish his footing in a division with Austin, Little Alex, which, understandable, probably the 2 best users in the AFC last year. But they, I'm excited to see what Duhooty does. This is not Joe Burrow's not the ultra mobile quarterback that we're used to seeing Duhooty use necessarily with that read option, triple option scheme that he's, made his own over his Madden career. But it's a very capable roster. I'm excited to see what it does. Cody, take it away.
Yeah, I think, I agree. Burrow's no Lamar Jackson, but he's also no Peyton Manning in the pocket. He's got, he could get out there on a read option. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see Duhooty say, you know what, let's run it with Burrow. I can pass it. We know he's a good passer. Obviously, he was injured last year. He's probably going to be Stardev if I were to guess, but I'm assuming his stats are going to be probably pretty similar because when he was healthy, he really was kind of tearing it up. And really, the Bengals lost William Jackson. They lost Carl Lawson, but they were very active in free agency, and they still have a lot of youth. Obviously, that linebacker core, very young. They signed Trey Hendrickson, like you said, Chidobe Awuzie, Mike Hilton, Larry Ogunjobi, Riley Reef to help with that O-line. They signed Eli Apple, Ricardo Allen. So there's some names on this roster that in terms of maybe the NFL, you're like, oh, whatever. But in terms of Madden, you're like, okay, I think I can do some stuff with this here. And so Duhooty obviously is a guy that, knows the ins and out of Madden. And you give him, a team that he can build up, I think he's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. And the same thing I was thinking that Ben Popson says Rico Allen's overrated. Yeah, I agree as a Falcons fan. Yeah, so I mean, Duhooty surprised he's able to get the Bengals. I had the Bengals in like my top 15, so I was a little surprised he's able to go ahead and secure them at 27. So I think he'll be happy to get them at that spot there to get the Cincinnati Bengals. There was another one I saw. Oh yeah, Ben says 6 teams.
Also, fun. I was just gonna say, funny, just funny how things change. We went from Bengals number whatever I was last year.
13,
I think I was like 12 or something like that. It dropped all the way down to 27.
Even though they're probably a better team now, I don't even think we mentioned Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
But
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I guess they'll be pretty good, right? All right, let's go ahead and move on. So where was it? Oh, Ben says 6 teams in. Oh no, what I wanted to say was B Shep says Jay Cutler is a former elite and future first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback. Something tells me that might be Alex's girl who's tuned in. So we appreciate you tuning in there, B Shep 1987. Alex quickly jumps in, says B Shep, you stud. So I appreciate that. Ben says 6 teams in. AFC has 4 certain playoff contenders who are not done yet because the Cleveland Browns were able to go ahead and secure themselves somebody who deserves our support in the Marine Corps, and that's Captain Pyle, able to go ahead and secure the Browns with the 6th overall selection.
Wow.
Connor.
Wow.
Austin, take it from me, baby. Run the ball and let that defense cook. I didn't do it all the time in that cycle, but that was really the key to success for me. This is such a good Madden roster. I'm gonna miss it, y'all. It's like, even I couldn't screw it up, so I know Hero Austin isn't going to. They have pretty much the exact same core coming back. They didn't really lose anyone. They added Jadeveon Clowney. They added John Johnson, who was like maybe the best safety in all free agency last year. I mean, this defense is just ridiculous. So, Hero Austin just needs to just call his base defenses, don't screw it up, and just let that defense roll because this is obviously a tough division so far, but that defense is going to keep you in a lot of games that you maybe don't necessarily deserve to be in otherwise. Take it from me again. Great fit. I mean, Hero Austin with Nick Chubb. We'll see if, he has Freight Train again. We'll see if Freight Train's the same as was in Madden 21. But man, I mean, this is looking like a great division so far. And Hero Austin pair him with the Browns. That's a perfect fit in my opinion.
Cody, I see your face. Your thoughts?
So I'm shook because I think everyone looked at 1 through 5 and thought, okay, Hero got the Chargers. So what I'm interested to see as we go through this, did someone take the Chargers ahead of him or did Hero? Oh no. So he's saying in the chat, whoever took the Chargers.
He had Chargers.
So someone snagged the Chargers in front of Hero. That is very interesting. I'm sure when he saw his name at 6, he thought I got the Chargers. And so, everyone's saying Cody took the Chargers. I guess we'll see, but man, wow. I mean, that is, that's tough, that he didn't get his favorite team, but at the same time, he probably got a better team in the Browns, even though he had the Chargers won. So, you really can't be too upset. Maybe what you can be upset about is that he's in, so far two people in his division can easily make the playoffs, or maybe not easily, but they have made the playoffs and they've showed they've had, the skills to do that. And so this is going to be interesting. I think, it's going to be probably Hero's big test really all season long outside of now having, maybe a pretty easy division in Madden 21. And I have a sneaky suspicion who the Steelers are. And we'll see if maybe we remove the ERS and see what happens.
Well, we'll go ahead and move on to Steelers. Quick thought on Hero Austin. Yeah, he was the first user he was the 6th overall. He was the first one. The first top 5 had their first picks, and then he was the one who had his 2nd overall pick. So first person not to nail their number 1 pick. So feel a little bad, but I think him securing the Browns not too bad, as we've seen the Browns roster able to carry certain people to the Super Bowl. Anyways.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Let's go ahead and move on to the Steelers. Luckily, those are 3 good users right there. Luckily, there's a pushover game in Pittsburgh.
Was I right?
No, they're a pushover. So luckily, this is not the Division of Doom, the Bloodstream, or whatever we called it. Just kidding. It's actually Steel, who secures themselves the Pittsburgh Steelers with the 25th overall selection. Connor, your thoughts on the Steelers?
You talk about someone that's going to be a motivated man heading into Madden 22, man. I mean, he's got, Steel and CMAS. We know that rivalry in the chat. That's been, since the Get days, or so I hear. They're going to have 2 matchups every season. Now it's going to be really exciting. And he gets his favorite team. So really, really excited to see what Steel does here. Got a lot of fun defensive pieces. Jesse, couple of, questionable rerolls he made. Hopefully Steel, doesn't reroll inside stuffs when he has 2 of them, for example. But there's a lot of fun defensive pieces. Devin Bush obviously is going to be one of the most lethal user linebackers in the league. Steel, no slouch of a user on his own, obviously on both sides of the ball. Able to make the Super Bowl run. Able to, when he's fully locked in, when he's able to piece it together, get that West Coast conservative style offense going. He's a force, man, and we got 4 forces in this division, man. This is real tough, and God, I'm shook right now. The AFC North is stacked.
Cody.
We're seeing a little toxicity already with Ben in the chat saying poor hero with the division karma big time. Went from the easiest division to I guess we'll see at the conclusion of this spectacular if this is the hardest division or not. This is I talked to Steele pre him going on his anniversary dinner, and he felt pretty confident that he was probably going to have the Steelers. I think they were pretty high on his list, and then seeing the analytics come out by Connor of the teams who were pretty low on most people's lists, which were the Steelers. So he felt pretty sure he was going to be that, and then knowing that, he felt pretty confident actually that you were going to have the Ravens, CMAS. He did think, I think we're going to have 2 different users as the Browns and Bengals. So I think he'll be a little bit happy, but because I think he thought maybe Little Alex or like Austin might be in the mix here. So maybe he'll be a little bit happy not to see their names. But if Duhooty gets back to his normal form, I mean, look out for basically anyone in this division.
And we are already joined by our first head coach, and raise your right hands over to your eyebrow and go ahead and salute this man, Captain Connor puts it on his heart. You idiot! All right, salute this man, Captain Pyle, in the chat. Next, Cleveland Browns head coach wearing a Los Angeles Chargers.
I thought it was the Chargers, man. I thought it was the Chargers.
Oh man.
Yo.
Oh man. Oh, cheers to you, man. All right, your thoughts, man.
I mean, I put on number 2, and I got my number 2 team. So, I mean, it is what it is. I think it's a good opportunity for me to compete with some good users. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I got a good team. It accommodates who I am as a user, running the ball. I've already got defensive pieces all over the place, DBs, good pass rush. So I'm happy with it. It's just gonna be a grind in this division, as you know, CMS. So
Yep. Connor, you got any questions for Coach of the Browns here?
Yeah, man, I'm just curious, obviously, Giants not a slouch of a roster necessarily, but it's, I don't think anyone would consider it like a top 10 roster in Madden necessarily. And now you're going to the Cleveland Browns, which, carried my trash ass to a Super Bowl. They can carry many users to, potential great heights. So I'm just curious, man, it's probably a better defense than it was last season. Still got all the, offensive pieces coming back. Just what are your thoughts on having, maybe the best Madden roster in the game?
like I said, I'm excited about it. Obviously, I wanted the Chargers just to have, have what Cody had last cycle where like you had your own team. But like I said, it's my number 2 team. Like I can't be upset about it. And once again, like after this cycle and all the questions I got about like being able to compete against good users, like I was able to do it in the regular season, not in the playoffs. So maybe we change that up this year and have a little bit of success in the regular season. And maybe the Browns roster just takes us all the way, who knows?
Your thoughts on certain users saying that division karma is heading your way because you had quote unquote an easy division last year to this division now. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, Ben quit on the entire league.
Oof.
Okay.
Oof.
King talks all his shit and he hasn't won a Super Bowl. You got so many guys in the chat talking shit, but they haven't done anything. It's no cap. Like you can talk all your shit, but you haven't done anything to back it up. So keep going with it, King. Keep going with it, King. Keep going with it, Ben. You quit after 4 games because you fell behind in the division. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
That's all
a lot of shit talkers with no not backing it up. That's all. That's it. Division karma, whatever, man. Like, I take what I got for a division, and we compete. We didn't do well in the playoffs, so be it. It is what it is. Sometimes you got to get toxic.
Caden's getting toxic. Somebody who hasn't even been in the league in a while. That's interesting. But as a fellow division mate, I look forward to our battles here. I always enjoyed our games when we did play. And then obviously Steel and Duhooty are no slouches themselves. So I look forward. I feel like this is definitely going to be the most toxic division. And for those who are wondering, this is the aforementioned division that we were talking about as being the toughest division, in our opinion, so far. Now, obviously, y'all might change your minds as we go on. But thank you so much, Austin, for coming on, man. I appreciate you. Sorry you're wearing your Los Angeles Chargers jersey, and turned out you weren't able to secure that team, but able to get the Browns.
It's all good. I look forward to it, C-Man.
Yeah, it'll be fun, bud. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Move back, really, to the production here, as we're going to go ahead and move to the NFC North. Chase says CMAS line. Not sure what I'm lying about. Well, first off, what's lying? Is that like capping? Is that what you're referring to? I'm not sure. We don't say lying in this chat. We're hip. Obviously, Chase is super old, right? Couldn't figure out Discord. Couldn't figure out freaking lying. Couldn't capping. Anyways, let's move to the NFC North here. Austin knows I'm effing with him. I don't know, Caden. We don't know you. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on. Chicago Bears, the first one here, and somebody had them as their number 1 overall pick because he happens to be a huge Chicago fan, able to go ahead and secure them. And God, it's been so long, I don't even know where the button is. There it is. One last time. And then I'm gonna have to take this off my soundboard, and it breaks my heart. Well, let's go ahead and go to Cody's thoughts. Connor's thoughts.
So I promise this is a safe space for you. I will not mention how the last cycle went. Instead, I'll say, this is it's an interesting roster. I mean, I'm sure if Alex wants to come in here for the interview, he can obviously speak on it a lot better than I can. But I'm not really sure where the defensive threats are in the secondary. They lost Kyle Fuller. It was not particularly deep secondary to begin with. It's not entirely clear to me how he's going to defend the pass. Obviously, we don't know how competent the rest of the users are in his division yet, but if he does get good users, that could pose an issue for him. The secondary I would say is honestly one of the worst as far as Madden goes. And then obviously, a lot of veterans, a lot of veteran talent on that offense. It's not a horrible offense by any stretch, but especially with Justin Fields, he can continue to dev. But I think it's going to be a bit of a rebuilding process potentially on both sides of the ball. If anyone's capable of doing it, it's Alex. Alex knows exactly what this Bears roster needs. I'm sure he's going to be locked in. He's ready to really, really prove people wrong after the last cycle, prove that he's still that elite user, still that Super Bowl competitive user. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good fit for him. I'm very excited to see how it goes.
Cody?
Yeah. I mean, I think I will say this. I've cracked either my 4th or 5th truly of the night, and I think it's time to get toxic. So I'm excited for Alex. I know he's in here, so he's gonna hear this, live instead of on the stream. I'm excited for Alex. In a very similar position as I was last season. You get your favorite team with a rookie quarterback. You see the growth. You know your team well. You know where you need to go and build and do this. But he had the Chiefs. And did nothing. Nothing. Had the best quarterback in the league, debatably, and did nothing. Best roster in the league, it did nothing. So now he's taking a worse team. Yes, it's his favorite team, and then a rookie quarterback. Can he develop a quarterback? Can he win a playoff game? We'll see. Tune in. Madden 22.
Jesus.
Damn, coming in toxic already. I love it. I love it. As you heard, Alex popped in here, but we'll get hit to him as we reveal the rest of the division. So he'll get to hear all the other people he's going to be playing against. One of them, I feel bad for him because he thought he was going to be avoiding the terrible internet of people across the pond. So he will not be avoiding that at all with the Detroit Lions. It just happens to be the different one, and that's Boz with the 22nd overall selection, able to go ahead and secure his favorite team, the Detroit Lions. Connor, your thoughts on this Lions roster?
Boz is a very underrated user, in my opinion. Better than Fern, but kind of in the same vein as Fern in that he, had to deal with tough divisional matchups. He had to deal with, pretty tough schedules really all throughout the cycle, but he made that run to the NFC Championship game, I believe, season 3. He, he's pretty damn solid, in my opinion. Now, Austin even at one point called him a Super Bowl contender after they played a game. So that's got to mean something because Austin knows, more about this game. He's forgotten more about this game, I should say, than I have ever known. So The roster is bad. It's a bad roster, both sides of the ball. It is what it is. You know, they just lost Matthew Stafford. I don't entirely know like what they're doing in real life, like what the plan is, other than just like a multi-year tanking process, if that's their goal. But team building is going to be an issue. But luckily, in this division, I don't think his bad team is going to harm him necessarily as much as it would in others, because I'm not sure how like incredible the rest of the rosters are in this division either. So we'll see what Bob's able to do. Obviously, very capable user, pretty solid threat, pretty consistently within the better league. So it's going to be real interesting. And sorry about the dial-up internet, Alex. It is what it is.
Ben says, can I get a go dogs from you because of DeAndre Swift there, Connor? I don't think that's going to happen there, Ben. Cody, your thoughts on this Lions roster?
Yeah, 1 second here. I have a message for Taint.
Oh, geez. I'll give my thoughts then, and then we'll get to you here in a second.
Wait, no, it's right here. It's right here. I just need Taint to lay off the weed. He said Goff is going to be an X factor. If Goff is an X factor, then let's just not play Better League Madden 22, because that would be something else. But anyways, all I got to say here is I'm excited. I think so far 1 and 2, we've got guys that have their favorite teams. For those of you that don't know, Boz considers himself a Lions fan from Scotland. And so I think that's cool. I think that's exciting. We'll see what happens with the last 2. Obviously, he's got an uphill battle with this division. But, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'm excited for this. And I do think it's funny that Alex went from having to schedule with a difficult time zone to having to schedule with another difficult time zone.
As somebody who's in the division with Boz, I never once had an issue trying to schedule with him, except for once when he fell asleep by accident. But other than
Boz is great. I love Mark.
He's a beast scheduler and one of my favorite users. And I've known him for multiple Maddens, multiple leagues. So Boz, I appreciate you, brother. Let's go ahead and move on to the Green Bay Packers. And this is the user that I've also known for multiple leagues, and I feel like he's never ever been a different team other than this one, except for the brief stint he just had last cycle, and that's Mr. Tim with the Green Bay Packers, able to go ahead and secure his favorite team with the 14th overall selection. Connor, your thoughts on this Packers roster?
This is the roster, we use week 1 rosters here in the Better League. This is the roster that has the greatest potential for a seismic shift between now and when the league starts. Will Aaron Rodgers be a Packer? Yeah. It's the storyline that's dominating. It's been dominating ESPN really for the last month and a half. It'll be interesting. I don't think the Madden ratings are going to love Jordan Love necessarily. So if Rodgers leaves, that's kind of an immediate hole at the quarterback position you have to fix. It's, everyone knows kind of the issues with the Packers roster at this point. There is decent talent on both sides of the ball. There's a lot of veteran talent, a lot of aging talent, and they've not done a ton to replace it with youth necessarily. So again, much like I've said about a couple other teams, is going to be a bit of a rebuilding process as the cycle goes on, especially if we go 7 seasons like we were able to do in Madden 21. I'm excited for Tim, huge Packers fan. Just loves this team, loves Aaron Rodgers. I'm praying for him I want Rodgers to leave, but I'm praying for his sake that Rodgers stays so that he can use him. But I'm excited for Tim. Obviously, 2 tough users he has to go against in Alex and Boz, but I think he'll be motivated. I think he'll stick around for sure.
Cody?
Yeah, the trend continues. Obviously, it's going to end here on the 4th team, because I'm pretty sure, as far as I know, the Duhooty is the only Vikings fan. Hey, Steele's here. I hope you had a good anniversary dinner. I feel like he now, anyways. But this is pretty cool. You got 3 straight guys, or 3 out of the 4 teams who have their favorite team. So that's exciting. Tim, not knowing who the 4th user in this, but my initial inclination is that Tim's probably the 4th user in this league. He's got a steep hill to climb. But if Rodgers is on this team, he's in a much better spot than if Rodgers isn't on this team.
Yeah, this is a pretty solid roster. Tim pretty much gets the Packers every year, so I feel confident he knows what to do with it. I'm excited to see Tim actually build a team, because he's always been a solid team builder. He just, picked up a team that, didn't really fit his style with a Lamar Jackson in the Ravens this year. But let's go ahead and move on to the 4th team in this division. That's the Minnesota Vikings. Alex is going to get the Justin treatment this year. He's going to get the easiest division in the league. Just kidding, because fucking Dan takes over the Minnesota Vikings with the 13th overall selection. Connor, your thoughts on this Minnesota Vikings team?
What y'all know about the Alex Dan rivalry, man? It was a great one, Madden 20. It is a divisional rivalry now. Those Bears Vikings games are going to be appointment viewing for the Better League, ladies and gentlemen. And obviously, you know, Dan, one of the best team builders in this league. This roster, I promise you, will not look anywhere near the same. Oh, we got more guys popping in the Discord, but it will not look anywhere near the same in season 3, even as it does season 1. But regardless, you know, you've got Dalvin Cook, you've got, you know, Justin Jefferson, whole lot of offensive talent on this team, and you know that's not to mention a Vikings roster or a Vikings defense that maybe took a step back in 2020 compared to most, but they do still have a decent amount of talent. You know, this is a lot for Dan to work with. I know he's excited. I can't wait to hear his thoughts and Alex's thoughts. You know, they're both just raring to go into Discord. Just a couple more minutes, fellas, but it's gonna be a fun one. And Cody seems bewildered, so I'll let you go.
Go ahead, Cody.
I'm shocked. Dan went from, getting the Saints last year. Obviously, he was a bit lower in the selection this time, getting his team at 13. I know he was pretty adamant. I was talking to him beforehand. He was pretty adamant that he got, I think he said maybe the 3rd team on his list. So we'll see once he's talking if this was the 3rd team or a higher team on his list. But a bit shocking. He went from one of the best rosters in the NFL, which to maybe a bottom 5, or if you don't want to make that claim, definitely a bottom 10 roster in the NFL. They've got Thielen, they've got Cook, they've got Kirk Cousins, but Kirk Cousins is old. My guess is maybe Dan's thinking, and maybe, you know, I'm sure he'll share this with us, but I'm guessing maybe Dan's thinking he can get rid of Kirk pretty easily. Maybe amnesty him and kind of, or if he doesn't want to amnesty him, play with him year 1 and then draft a quarterback in the first draft. So we'll see, but this is an exciting division, if you ask me. You've got Dan and Alex, and then Boz in there. That's a lot of fun. I'm having fun right now. I don't know about you guys, but I'm having fun.
Very excited to see Dan in this division get the Minnesota team, underrated uniforms there in Minnesota on a dome team. So that's going to be fun for Dan. And I think they have a pretty good M factor from what I remember. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think the players are faster in the red zone. Oh, yeah, that's right. Ben said it. They are faster in the red zone, the offensive players. But let's go ahead and jump into the coaches that are in here. Alex popped in here first. A little disappointed I don't see a face cam. But Big Alex, man, what are your thoughts on securing your favorite team, the Bears? Oh, here it comes. There it is.
I mean, it's okay. It's all right. I can't even fucking see out of these things. I think I'm more excited to not have Phil in my division. You scared me there with the whole across the pond shit.
Gotcha.
But I'm really excited to have Dan in my division. We've had a lot of good games. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. You guys got anything for the coach of the Bears there?
Cody, if you have anything, go first.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think here? Is Andy Dalton going to get the call week 1, or is it the Justin Fields show?
It's the Justin Fields show, baby. Come on.
Your thoughts on Cody had some strong opinions earlier about you not able to get the Chiefs into the position they needed to be, and now having a worse roster. Cody doesn't seem too confident that you'd be able to dev Justin Fields. Your thoughts on those comments from Cody? I know you heard him earlier.
I mean, I know I didn't do jack shit last year, but I think I'm better with lower expectations, and I don't have the pressure of having the best team in the whole league just to start off. So I can just chill and play how I play.
Fair enough. Let's move on to the coach of the Minnesota Vikings there, Mr. Daniel Ragnon. I think Norman Fletcher is going to be taking over in Minnesota. Dan, your thoughts on this team?
Yeah, he's going north. It's it's not like it's like the best team to start off with, but this is a team I've never been before in a CFM. A team with a beautiful stadium. I think it's one of the most beautiful stadiums ever built in the history of humanity. So I'm just excited to be playing in that. I love their uniforms. I love, their fan base, I guess. So I'm just excited. I'm excited to take over Minnesota. It's going to be a little bit challenged, as Connor said. They're not in the best cap situation, but I feel like one amnesty will solve all that very quickly. As far as like season 1 goes, I think Kirk Cousins is, I don't know, this might be a hot take, but I think he's probably like the best average quarterback in football. I just love him. I've always been a huge fan of that guy. and I'm excited to take over and hit. I expect him to be my quarterback starting first, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time, and I'm excited to see how the cycle progresses. And I'm excited to have Alex in the division. Boz is such a great guy. We're going to have some great, games from across the pond, and then Tim playing in Green Bay. What's better than that? So just so excited for this opportunity.
Ben says in the chat, over under 3 games before Dan complains about the shadows in US Bank Stadium.
No. No. I think those are overrated. I think those complaints are overrated. I'm very comfortable with playing in those shadows. If anyone can do it, I think I can. It's not a big deal. I love playing in those natural light stadiums. I knew you guys were going to ask me about that and mention that, and I am firmly saying I love playing in natural light. It's a lot better than the darkness of Mercedes-Benz Superdome, which, as much as, the Saints were nice and everything like that, I just didn't like the lighting. That was like a big complaint I had in this last cycle. So can't wait to be playing in beautiful broad daylight.
Cody, Connor, anything for coach of the Vikings, Mr. Norman Fletcher? Hey, well, before we move on to the next division.
I'll just say, so what's our thoughts on Kirk Cousins? Is he the year 1 Band-Aid? Is he the year 1, year 2 Band-Aid? Or are we, is he the amnesty target? I think Dan died.
He's there. He's thinking about it. Did we lose him?
I lost him.
There we go. Hey, can you hear us, Dan?
Hello?
Hello?
I'm sorry. I
Hello?
did not hear a single word. Everyone just got off.
I was saying, so is
Dan
Kirk
paused.
Cousins the year 1 Band-Aid? Wait, did he pause again?
No, I'm just laughing at the Dan pause. And
okay.
comment in chat.
No.
I see. The Dan pause. Okay.
Yeah,
So is Kirk Cousins the year? Is Kirk Cousins the year 1 Band-Aid? Is he the year 1, year 2 Band-Aid? Is he the amnesty target? Give us an insight.
I mean, probably the amnesty target, but you never know how the cycle progresses and how we really feel. Because I remember back in Madden 20, Derek Carr was supposed to be kind of like, just a fill in, just I needed a quarterback, and then all of a sudden, he just became like the greatest quarterback in the league overnight. So why would I like leave him? So we'll see what we're gonna run. We're gonna run it, and who needs a QB?
I'm just laughing at Finn's comment in the chat because Cody was struggling. He says, some say Cody to this day is trying to get this question out. Oh, man. Roasted in the chat. I appreciate that. And Caden, yeah, it works with your phone, bro. So both the users that are in here now are on their phone. And I got one last question for the Bears user before we move on. Alex, are you going to keep the tradition going of playing bear down after every touchdown?
What do you think?
I think you better do
Let's
it, bro.
go, baby.
Let's go. All right. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining in. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next division. Thank you, coaches, for coming on. Let's go ahead and jump right into the next division, which is going to be the AFC South. Everybody's wondering who's going to get the Trash Can Texans. Well, we're about to find out here. The Trash Can Texans, this user, I think, was completely drunk when they made their team list because they put the Texans 3rd overall, and that's going to be Mr. Benjamin. Gets them with the 23rd overall selection, securing those Houston Texans. Connor, your thoughts on that?
I mean, Cody's just dying. I'm feeling the same way. You put them 3rd on your list, Ben. I mean, I'm sorry. No, I get maybe not having them 30, like, dead last if you think that Deshaun Watson's still going to be in the game. Escape artist QBs are hard to find, but god damn, dude. I mean, the top 3 is just rough. It's funny, I was looking at these offensive and defensive team rankings essentially for 2021 to do research, and the Houston Texans were number 32 on both offense and defense projection-wise, and I feel like that's about right, man. I mean, this is a roster that is just devoid of talent. And, I know Ben's about as good of a team builder as they come. I know he's, a Traper of the highest order, but, man.
Traper of the highest order.
He's gonna have to have his work cut out for him here because there's just so much you have to address here. I mean, they already had 0 pass rush. They just let JJ Watt go. The defense sucks. The offense just has nothing. I'm praying for you, Ben. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy, so we'll see what happens.
Cody.
I accidentally ripped my note to Tane up, but I'm gonna try to piece it back together here. maybe Ben was on one of his benders when he made his team list. I don't know. I'm sure he's got a plan. We know Ben. I normally crap on Ben, okay? And so let me toot his horn a little bit. We know Ben is probably no. Ben is the best GM in the league. He consistently gets people to trade him. I don't know how. He just does. I don't know if he offers favors on the side that none of us know about, but he is always in people's DMs trading. So he's probably going to, make something out of this roster. The thing that I'm a bit confused about is there's not much to make out of this roster. If Deshaun Watson is not on this team, this is probably the worst roster in the gosh darn league. I mean, they have just the most random spattering of people, and for him to put them at 3, I am just thoroughly confused. Yeah, that's
all I have to say about that. Yeah. And first off, that reminds me, the end of the cycle awards, did we not have a GM of the cycle award? Unless I missed it.
You can't expect Justin to remember that. Come on now. Wisconsin education.
Justin just straight up got it. But anyways, Ben might have been in the running for that, but it's going to be hard considering I don't think he has a first round pick the first year, and nobody but Deshaun Watson basically. So this might be tough. And they didn't draft anybody in the first round this year. So good luck to you, Ben. Let's go ahead and move forward to the Indianapolis Colts. This is a user that's usually a trait partner with Ben, and that's going to be Mr. Taint. Is going to take over the Indianapolis Colts here with the 19th overall selection. Connor, your thoughts on Taint being in the division of his trait partner?
Well, listen, let me make this very clear, y'all. Taint's going to be every bit as competitive with that Colts team as Justin was as far as being a factor in the playoffs. Let's make that very, very clear. Cody knows what I'm talking about, too. Jonathan Taylor's going to continue to be a weapon. He had a very solid rookie season. That's someone that you can still dev very easily. And we know how much Taint loves pounding the rock, especially that first season. I think he got 3,000 rushing yards with Zeke, I think, that first season before, the Slider gang came in and kind of put a halt to all of that. But he's, say what you will about Taint, his reads and the passing game, although I do think those got better as the cycle goes on. Very capable runner, very underrated runner. I think he's just going to have to, slam Jonathan Taylor down the defense's throat, if you will. And then on the defensive side of the ball, solid front seven, old front seven, but solid front seven. He's going to have a semblance of a pass rush, which I think is more than you can say for some of the teams in this division, but the secondary is old and bad. Not a good combination. We'll see what he's able to do, but I just, nothing but love for Taint, nothing but love for my Miami brother. I'm rooting for him.
Cody?
Yeah, I think this is an interesting selection here. I think really smart choice by Taint. I'm assuming they were pretty high on his list to get them all the way at 19. And so I think this is very interesting. We definitely saw Taint get a lot better in terms of from Madden 20 to Madden 21. And so can he continue to grow on that? Obviously, he's got, already number one, first and foremost, even though it's a bad roster, he has been in his division who is, when he's trying a proven, pretty much year in and year out or season in and season out playoff contender. So we'll see what can happen here. But I think this is exciting. I think you're going to see Taint continue to pound the rock. And, he's, Carson Wentz probably isn't going to be the best quarterback ever, but he's going to be a pretty good quarterback that he can ride for a couple seasons, if not longer.
Absolutely. The Colts are a pretty solid roster, and I think Taint's going to be happy with where he got him here, and I think he'll be excited to be in the division with Ben, and I wouldn't be surprised if the first couple seasons Taint's putting some wins on Benjamin. But let's go ahead and move on to the Jacksonville Jaguars, which I think, in my opinion, was the biggest fall of any team. I had them super high, and they were able to fall all the way to the 17th overall pick to the most inconsistent user in Better League, and that's Mr. Kook. Able to go ahead and secure them with the 17th overall selection. Connor, your thoughts on Tim Tebow and this Jacksonville team?
Thank you. Tim Tebow and this Jacksonville team was like that very clear. We know that Ben wants no part of Kook. We saw that in the playoffs, I believe, the second to last season. In my opinion, Kook's running this division so far. Obviously, the Jaguars, Urban Meyer, much like Belichick, Urban Meyer just went crazy in free agency. They completely retooled that offense. They got a whole lot of new pieces in there. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence, probably, I mean, at the very least, he'll have superstar. He may even have X Factor. We'll see. I would not be surprised at all. And depending on how dev regression hits, depending on what we decide to do in the Better League, that may be a guaranteed X Factor quarterback for the entirety of the cycle, which I'm sure Kook will absolutely love to have. Send me Tebow, baby. I'll be in those DMs as soon as trades are open. Send me Tebow. I need it. I will overpay drastically for Tim Tebow, so let me know.
Cody.
Yeah, what's interesting to me about this is you could maybe make the case that this Jaguars offense is better than this Texans offense. And so it
100%.
depends on level of like locked in we get Ben in terms of and how he is in Madden 22. Obviously, it's a new Madden. It's on a new console. So, I would not be shocked if I see him you kind of said, I would not be shocked if Kook comes in here and, potentially runs the table. I don't know who the Titans are yet, obviously. And so, but I think Ben, this maybe Ben took the Texans because he thought the AFC South was going to be an easy division. But, Kook is one of these guys that is very, very, very any given Sunday in terms of Better League. If you're not on your game, Kook will steal one from you, and I think Ben will run into that very often.
Very solid roster. I had them in my top 5. I know Connor had them, and he was begging. You'll watch that video later on YouTube of us putting it together. He was begging to get the Jaguars and was not able to secure them once we got to Kook. And so he was a little disappointed, but nonetheless, great job by Kook to be able to secure this team. Hopefully he's a little bit more consistent this Madden and M22. Let's see if he's able to go ahead and beat this division rival coming up. This is a user that's a big slider talk guy, and that's going to be Mr. Cloud, able to go ahead and secure the Tennessee Titans. Reunited with Ben in his division, also reunited with Derrick Henry. Some people like Connor have a PTSD of it. Let's go ahead and go to Mr. Connor on that.
See, Master, you made my point for me there. What do y'all Better League OGs know about Madden 17 Derrick Henry? He's one of the most dominant running backs in league history, just trucking just multiple defenders every single run. Cloud was insane with him. He's going to continue, who knows if power running is going to be back this Madden, but honestly, even if it isn't, Cloud's just going to be able to establish that run game with Derrick Henry like no other. This is just a really interesting division, man. I mean, I can talk about the Titans, Ben, Cloud, Kook, and Taint. That could go any number of different directions, honestly, in terms of how the division plays out. So I'm excited to hear their thoughts. Obviously the Titans, they have Julio now. They have AJ Brown. That's absolutely the best wide receiver duo in that division. And, some might say in the conference. I mean, that's going to be insane, at least for the first couple seasons, while Julio's still, legitimate. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited to see what Cloud does. I hope he's locked in. I hope he's rejuvenated because Cloud, I love you, baby. Nothing but love for you. Can't wait to hear from you.
Cody.
Yeah, I think this is really exciting.
No, Tate, get that shit off my screen.
I don't have it up yet. I don't have it up yet. So hold on. Let's get through Cody first, and then we'll pop it up.
No way. Okay. All I just gotta say is, I think Cloud back in Ben's division is very interesting. Cloud, I think, proved from the get-go last season that he's he can take, he can go and compete with Ben. He competed with that whole NFC West. And so I think this is a really interesting division. I really do. I mean, I think probably if you're going to take history in terms of recent history, you say Ben's probably the guy, but I really wouldn't sleep on Cloud and I wouldn't sleep on Kook. I really wouldn't. Cause like I said, Kook is just an any given Sunday and my guy Taint just keeps getting better. So we'll see.
All right, we're joined by two coaches here, and we got to bring up the fact that
let's see this shit.
That Matt is wearing that shirt. Matt, you have the floor.
All right. First of all, it's good to see Cloud here. You've ruined my whole cycle. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
I think he's muted. He's muted. Wait, he's muted.
So
I got him.
Basically, I love that Ben took Texans. That was a shocker. I have no idea what he was thinking, but I plan to give him some good games. Kook, we always play tight. I just feel like I'm on the way up. I don't know. Like I worked on my passing game. It has some issues still, but I really worked on it the entire cycle. I didn't care how much I failed. I really worked on my passing game. But I got the Colts, who was my number one last year. They were my number one last year, and for good reason. Good O-line and Jonathan Taylor. So I'm just gonna bang the rock, man. I'm just gonna do what I can and then build up, get some speedy guys on the outside, and I'm excited, man. I got one of the teams I liked. So
cheers.
Let's go, boys.
Cheers. First off, I do want to let anybody that's in the chat right now, on the Twitch chat right now, that wants to join a CFM, the Indianapolis Colts are now available, according to Alex Gossett, the CFM of this league. So anybody who wants to join, the Colts may be available. Let's go over to Cloud. Cloud, welcome back to a production here on Better League Network. Your thoughts on your team able to secure the Tennessee Titans?
I'm actually pretty excited. Got Derrick Henry plus Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. It's going to be pretty fun with that. Maybe disappointment, but we'll see.
Any thoughts on sliders, Cloud, while we have you?
No, not at this time, but maybe later.
We shall see. Let's get over to Coach Ben Tennant, and then we'll go ahead and get everyone's overall thoughts. Ben, Texans?
Yeah, first wanted to say, Taint, you've just painted a massive target right all over yourself with that shirt.
This shirt couldn't have worked any better with seeing you getting picked as a Texans. I knew I was going to be the Colts. I was like, this shirt is perfect now.
All right, Texans, real quick. Biggest reason, two things. I'm really excited about Deshaun Watson. I wanted him badly. I kind of alluded to this on a couple of BLN streams during Madden 21. If you're paying attention, I'm really excited about this team. The draft picks not being there sucks, but I never draft anyway, so big deal. Deshaun Watson's going to be in the game. I don't know why you guys think he's not. This is, if it was going to happen, it would have happened by now. It's not going to happen. Training camp is right around the corner. As soon as that starts, it's done. They're not going to trade him because nobody wants to deal with that. He's there. Okay? So that's number one. If they do, then just forget all of this. Now, also, as far as the rest of the roster is concerned, there are a couple pieces, but for the most part, it's a wash. So I'm really excited to kind of start from ground zero. I took basically the opposite route last year with a great team, but not really a quarterback, and wound up trading a ton of assets to bring in Kyler Murray. And it was fun and really enjoyed it. But I'm excited to take the other end, maybe let the young guys develop, perhaps make a trade or two. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I feel like there's potential for growth. Basically everywhere but quarterback, it couldn't get any worse. So if we can get started off on a good start, that's great. I'm really excited about this division. It's going to be a lot of fun. All three guys are really good guys, and we'll compete.
A big shout out from King in the chat to Ben saying thank you so much for selecting the Texans so he didn't take over for him. I got to say, the fact that you said if he'd be out of the game, it would have happened by now. I don't believe the game has been released and won't be released till August, so I'm not quite sure how you would take it out of a game that doesn't exist yet. But interesting thoughts here, and I want to get everyone that's in the chat right now, coach-wise, who's winning this division? Crickets.
No, y'all go ahead and say whatever you're going to say. It doesn't matter.
Crickets. Crickets
I'll
from
say
everyone.
it. I'll say it. I think Ben's the favorite. Ben's the proven one. But I'm gonna beat Ben. I've been playing Ben pretty good lately. I'm not worried about Ben, and especially with that roster. I'm not worried about it.
What is this? I get you guys in here to talk about winning the division. You wear a free Ocho shirt. Don't talk shit. Cloud doesn't mention sliders at all. Ben's talking about not making trades maybe. What's happening? Anyways, Cloud, somebody mentioned in the chat
burning
about somebody mentioned in the chat about you potentially getting married. Is that so? Congratulations to that. You must have gotten married during your time when you stepped away. So congratulations from Better League
getting
Network.
Married this October.
Oh, nice, man. Congratulations.
Awesome. Cloud, congratulations.
Yeah, hopefully during a Texans game.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
All right, guys. Appreciate y'all coming on. Let's go ahead and we're gonna move on to the next division here. Thank you all. That was definitely our most hyped division, most participating. Frios. I cannot believe you wore that shirt. Let's go ahead and move on. Don't forget about Cloud. How could I forget? I thanked him. Let's go ahead and move on to the NFC South here, the division that's in my heart here. Somebody taking over to the Atlanta Falcons. It's not me, so I was a little upset, but, I got a good team anyways. But this person is near and dear to my heart, and that's Mr. Finn, able to go ahead and secure them with the 21st overall selection, get my boy Kyle Pitts. Connor, you like Kyle Pitts or what?
It's a little CMS. You know, he was a decent Gator. I wouldn't say a Gator great, but no. I mean, Kyle Pitts is just going to be an absolute monster. Like, I don't know if they're going to give him X Factor, but he deserves X Factor in terms of just being like, you know, one could say the best prospect in the entire draft. You know, all positions included. He's just going to be incredible. But you know, obviously, in Madden, it's tough to build your entire offense around one tight end. So you know, we'll see how much that's able to kind of impact Finn's ability to compete. I like Finn as a user. You know, obviously he. Through his announcing, through his streams, you can tell he has a great mind for the game. He's really good at, I think I've said this before in a Better League Network stream, but he's really good at kind of diagnosing coverages. He knows a lot about how Madden works, like from an AI perspective, from, you know, oh, that's beautiful, Cody. God, I should have joined y'all with the Trulies. But, you know, the Falcons, they were 5th on my list. You know, they obviously have holes, they have flaws as a roster, but I think Finn is committed enough and dedicated enough where he's going to be able to overcome those, you know, through team building, through scheming, and, he's a solid user with a solid team. I'm excited to see what he's able to do here.
Cody.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it pretty brief here, and it's not for a lack of respect for Finn, but just a lack of knowledge of Finn. Obviously, he took over that Packers team pretty late in the cycle, was able to pick up some good wins, but maybe also have some bad losses. And so I'm excited to see what he does. Obviously, he runs a very successful league of his own. Rules a little bit different than ours, but not too different. And so I'm excited what he will do here in Better League with a team of his own. You know, how he's going to trade, how he's going to what movies he's going to make, how he's going to build his team, and so and then excited to see who's in his division here. So I'm really excited for Finn in 22.
Yeah, I feel like Finn will do better this Madden than he did last Madden, taking over a team that wasn't his, and now he can build this team to the way he wants. In Atlanta, you know, there'll be a little cap strap to start with, but they've got some solid pieces on there that'll be able to go ahead and build around there. Justin saying, how did zero Falcons fans get them Falcons? Well, one of us had Texans up there, but Finn had to just step right above them. But let's go ahead and move on to the Carolina Panthers. Long time BL user, multiple Super Bowl winner, and that is one of the best looking guys in BL. Hopefully he has the robe on right now, and that's Mr. Morty, able to go ahead and secure the Carolina Panthers with the 20th overall selection. Connor, your thoughts on Morty getting these Panthers?
CMC, baby. You absolutely love to see it. You know, they got some solid deep threats. Obviously, CNC. We'll see what the QB situation ends up being. You know, does Morty, I should say, keep Sam Darnold? Does he go a different direction? I'm really interested to see that. Obviously, you know, Morty's competitiveness in this league was obviously very high, Madden 17 and 18. It's maybe waned a little in the last 3 Maddens, but he's still dedicated. He's still very capable. I know that firsthand. He's always a sleeper, man. I mean, he's, you know, Cody knows this from playing him last cycle. I know this from playing him last cycle. You know, he can very much, depending on the game, very much sneak up on you, very much take down elite users. So I think this Panthers team is a good fit for him scheme-wise. I root for Morty pretty much every game he plays, including damn near when he plays me. So hopefully he'll be able to succeed with this Panthers team. I want to see it happen.
Cody?
Yeah, this is interesting. You know, Morty is typically a guy that has, you know, taken a young quarterback and developed them pretty decently. Obviously, Darnold, not the youngest. He's not the oldest, obviously, also. So, you know, will he ride Darnold? Maybe it's just a season or two decision for him, and then he moves on. But this is honestly a very low-key good roster. And so I think so far just 1-2, Finn and Morty, this is a really interesting division. You know, I think Finn and Morty are going to have some pretty good matchups too. You know, maybe I don't know how Finn plays exactly, but, you know, obviously in Morty, a very unconventional Madden user. And I think Finn will like that as well. He's not Morty's not, if you will, a cheesy user. And so I think there's going to be some really interesting matchups here, and excited to see how the rest of the division shakes out.
Fantastic points, Cody. Let's go ahead and move on from Morty. Like I said before, one of the better looking members of the Better League. And we're going to jump to the New Orleans Saints. This user had one of the biggest falls in this year's lottery and won himself a Super Bowl last cycle. Let's see if he can do it again this cycle. And he's taking over this stinky stadium here, and that's Connor Rice, able to go ahead and secure the New Orleans Saints here with the 30th overall pick. We're going to skip Connor. We'll get his thoughts last. So I'm going to start off. Well, Cody's getting himself a Truly, so I'll say my thoughts on the Saints roster here. Saints roster's got some talent, but it's a little bit older talent, a little surprising. Most people are not a big fans of the Saints here. I always say the Saints, but Solid uniform combination, solid roster. What's he going to do at quarterback? He may do a 2-quarterback situation with Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston. We'll see. But they've got some solid offensive and defensive pieces to build around. Just a little bit of age on there. But Cody, let's go ahead and move over to you. Your thoughts on Connor taking over this roster?
Yeah, my initial thought was exactly what Alex just posted in the chat, is that Connor getting the Saints at 30 is absolutely mind-boggling to me. I mean, when you are a user, obviously Connor, you were, kind of in the drive. You and CMAS were in the driver's seat, but say you had no clue who your team were, and then this slide were to pull up. I mean, I'm assuming you still felt this way when this happened. You have to be ecstatic. At the 30th pick, you get the New Orleans Saints. Sure, they're not going to have Drew Brees. Still at the same time, he had a gosh darn noodle arm. Talk about a pretty darn freaking good roster to get at number 30. I mean, holy crap. I mean, Connor has to be feeling very, very good, the fact that he didn't end up with a bottom tier roster at number 30.
Connor, your thoughts on getting this team?
I can relate to having a noodle arm like Drew Brees. Hi, Dan. I think this is a very, as you were saying, Cody, I mean, you're absolutely right. I was nodding my head the whole time. For pick 30, I'll take it. I'll gladly take this New Orleans Saints team. It could have been way, way worse. We've got already an established running game. Alvin Kamara, maybe not be the fastest running back in the world, but we'll be able to get that going at least for the first couple seasons, at least until I draft, hopefully, the next Chris Banyard. Cap is going to be an issue. I've never thought that cap is like all that difficult to manage in Madden, but still, it's like about as hard of a situation as you can find like heading into season 1. So we'll see how that goes. We'll talk about the division when we get there, but I got Finn and Morty in my division. That's very, very exciting. I've always wanted to be in a division with Morty, especially. I'm given that it was pick 30 again. I'm very, very happy.
What? I need to hold on.
And I guess I'll keep talking.
Yeah, it looks like. I know.
We're good. Yeah. So. Anyways, yeah, taking over the Saints team at pick 30 is pretty incredible. So let's go ahead and move on. I think this might be the biggest surprise in Better League history of who takes over the Bucks, because definitely was no leaks at all, and that's going to be Mr. Gamble, who's going to go ahead and secure himself with a number overall selection, firing the Cannons Gamble with the number 1 overall pick. Connor, your thoughts on this?
This is going to, at least for the first couple seasons, this is going to be a filthy roster, dude. Like, they bring all of their starters back from the Super Bowl team. They're going to get that Super Bowl bump in terms of ratings. Obviously, despite, who knows what type of throw power they'll give him, but Tom Brady is going to be one of the best Madden quarterbacks, accuracy-wise and ability-wise. They've got an incredible, especially front seven. The pass rush is just unbelievable. I'm thinking now, like, how to protect Jameis and Taysom, because that Tampa Bay Bucks defense is going to be screaming if Gamble's, able to utilize them properly. I'm just excited for Gamble. He needs a stacked roster to compete, and I think he got a stacked roster. So we'll see what he's able to do with it. We'll see who the next Adonis Morrison is on this team.
Cody.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's going to help Gamble quite a bit that he has what we assume will probably be the best roster, considering they are the Super Bowl champions. And so we'll see how he does. In general, I'm just really excited about this division. I think it's a very, very interesting division. You got Connor and Morty, who have a little bit of history. Finn, a bit of a question mark, but has had success, obviously, in his own Madden league. And so this is very interesting division, and I'm really excited. So far, all these divisions, for the most part, are super interesting to me, and really have not been like anything that's like, oh my gosh, that's a garbage. That's a garbage shoot. So I'm excited.
Absolutely, me as well. This NFC South here, and I know we have a few coaches that have already joined in, so we're gonna go ahead and pop up and go to them. The first one that joined in was Mr. Finn, taking over the Atlanta Falcons. Finn, your thoughts on securing my favorite team, the Atlanta Falcons?
One second, I gotta let my wife know the camera's on and not to stand up.
Sweetie.
Smart. Don't stand up.
Tell her there's a spider on the floor.
You're under.
We had some birthday fun earlier, so okay.
Hey.
Okay, so what was the question? I'm sorry.
Tell us about your thoughts on securing the Atlanta Falcons.
They were second on the list behind the Rams. I like the jerseys. That's one thing. I kind of didn't expect to be picking this high. I know that's kind of a shoot yourself in the foot scenario. But, I think there's good roots, especially with speed on the defense, 290 speed linebackers. They drafted a couple low 4-4 corners, inside stuff with Grady Jarrett. I'm kind of banking on that returning. as well as obviously the talented Kyle Pitts, who I would say you're going to see him use less like a tight end and more like an AJ Green, should the rules allow.
Interesting. Any thoughts, Connor, on Kyle Pitts being used potentially as an AJ Green? And then also, could we get your thoughts on that as a Bengals fan?
Well, I just got very distracted. I apologize. Y'all know why, but
Yeah, we sure as hell know why. Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, Finn, I'm very excited to play. I don't think I've ever played you before, so I'm excited to be in a division with you. I'm sure that's going to be kind of a fun matchup we have throughout the seasons. Again, as I said, I had the Falcons 5th. I think it's a very kind of underrated Madden roster. I think the league kind of slept on it a little bit as far as especially those offensive weapons go. You'll have some. Oh my god. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
There's just a lot going on right now. But yeah, I'm just. I don't even know that I have a question. I just what do you see as I guess the biggest hole or the biggest gap in this Falcons roster that you need to kind of work with here and rebuild moving forward?
Well, it's not so much just a hole for me, but for everybody, excluding maybe the Bucs user for the first season or two, is when Tom Brady is gone, none of these teams have a quarterback, right? Matt Ryan's gone. Sam Darnold doesn't count. Taysom Hill doesn't count. So none of these teams have a quarterback. So really, once Gamble's run with Tom Brady's up, it's kind of going to be a race to who can get an elite quarterback first, I think. That might be what separates everybody. So I think that's probably the biggest hole, obviously the cap space issues. But for me, securing the first elite quarterback and being able to win games through the passing game confidently, especially when you have Ridley and Pitts, is kind of my big focus. So that's the move.
Yeah, that kind of was going to be around my question was, plans with the quarterbacks, plans with the quarterback and the Falcons. And so you kind of hit on that. But yeah, I just got to say, Finn, I kind of said it in the, when we revealed that you were the Falcons, and I'm excited to see what you do this year. Your own team, obviously it's never easy to take a team over, especially when it's as deep in the cycle as it is. So I'm excited to see what you do this year in the Better League.
Yeah, man, it's great. I think that it's less of a challenge of the team and just not know what I'm getting into. It's not so much the Packers team was bad. It was more so, I don't know. Unless I check the daddy leagues, I don't know what I'm dealing with ability-wise, tendency-wise, and that's just something that's kind of hard to jump into while also learning your own team. So I'm excited to play guys that have won championships and things like that. So I think it's going to be a good time facing off with Morty, Connor, and Gamble. I think it'll be a good time.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I'll be in your DMs probably for some of my guys there in Atlanta, but
come get him. Come get him.
Let's move on to the gentleman in the room right now. That's Morty in the robe here. Morty, tell us about your thoughts taking over this Carolina team. We're going full screen for Morty. We're going full screen for him.
I think I had him as my top 5 or as my 5th team. So my goal was to never have such a horrible secondary again, like I did all cycle last year.
Yeah.
So I feel like instantly with Dante Jackson and JC Horn, I'm pretty set pretty well. So I'm excited about that. And, some pieces around here and there. I know there's Brian Burns, stuff like that. But glad to be in a division with, some new faces and some familiar faces.
Oh, that's funny.
Can I get a Morty belly cam? That's what I'm wanting. Some Morty belly cam.
Morty belly cam. That might be an ad cam for all we know. Let's see. But
yeah, no, it's gonna be fun.
I have a feeling this is gonna be there's a balance between a toxic division and a competitive division. This is gonna be a competitive up high and a toxicity down low division. It's just a lot of nice guys, a lot of competitors here. So this is gonna be a good division to watch. I look forward to seeing some Finn Connor streams in this division here, and Gamble. We'll see what he can do and maybe get something rolling together there with that Buccaneers offense. But appreciate y'all coming on. And I see the belly game in the chat. I've yet to actually see the belly come out. Can we get a preview of the belly?
I got you, boys. Let's go, boys.
There it is. Yeah! There it is. All right, man. I appreciate you guys coming on. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next division. Thank you guys so much for coming in. The next division is gonna be the AFC West. All right, and we got it pulled up. Perfect. All right, AFC West. Let's go ahead and pull it up. Broncos are the first team here. The dude's obsessed with the Broncos. I think he wants to be him all the time, and that's Phil. Phil picks up the Broncos with the 9th overall selection. Connor, your thoughts on Phil getting the Broncos again?
Don't get it either, Cody, but we'll talk our way through it here as this goes on. Listen, Phil had his best run as a Madden player with the Denver Broncos in Madden 18. I said it in the previous team selection show. I'll say it in this one. That Madden 18 Broncos team was lethal. This is not that Madden 18 Broncos team. They've got, pretty much rotated in a whole lot of players in pretty much every position group. The one area where they are better than they were heading into Madden 21 is they really revamped that secondary. They signed Kyle Fuller and Ronald Darby, and they drafted Patrick Surtain out of Alabama. So he will have a way better secondary to deal with than he did early on. Obviously, that secondary got lethal later on in the cycle, but at least year one, it'll be a better start. Other than that, I don't get it. I don't know what Phil's obsession is with this team. I know he's a Matthew Stafford fan, but that obviously doesn't apply to the Broncos. So I don't know what's going on, what he's thinking, but here we are. You got to be happy for someone who gets the team that they wanted, and I guess that's where Phil's at again.
Cody.
I just don't get it. I just don't get it. It has to get boring at a certain point, right? It has to get boring. It's the same thing over and over and over again. It's like he's trying to relive Madden 18. And so I understand it, but it's been Madden 19, Madden 20, Madden 21. Like he hasn't done hardly anything since let's try something new, Phil. Let's try something new, but he didn't. So let's see what he can do again.
Well, he's taking over a Broncos team, which has some talent. So, a lot of people had Broncos fairly high, and Broncos is a pretty solid team minus the quarterback situation. We'll see if he's able to go ahead and have a little more success than he had last Madden, where he had some decent seasons, but not able to win a playoff game. Let's move forward to, a team that wasn't able to win a playoff game last year, but they're taken over by another team, which was a pain in the ass to fill in their old division, and that's Payne, able to go ahead and take over the Kansas City Chiefs, who, again, fell to 11, able to go ahead and secure the Kansas City Chiefs. Cody. I'm sorry, Connor, your thoughts?
And how the Chiefs keep falling, dude. The same thing happened last year. The Phil Slayer is back. Wasn't so much of the Phil Slayer at the end of the cycle, but we'll see if he's able to, kind of steal a couple games from the Broncos, especially with a, way better roster, at least on paper. I don't know, man. After seeing Alex just underachieve horrifically with that roster, I don't really know what to expect from that Chiefs team anymore. But I don't need to tell y'all how good the Chiefs roster is. We all know it. They're probably the most explosive offense in the game day one. So if you believe in great rosters elevating, potentially okay users, this could be a situation where P finds himself competing with a couple users that maybe he didn't find himself necessarily competing with Madden 21. So I'm excited for him. We'll see how locked in he is. We'll see how much he team builds to fill, the few holes that the Chiefs do have, especially on defense. So we will see. I don't know. I'm just curious how the Chiefs keep falling. That's really what I'm thinking. 11? God.
Cody.
Yeah. I've been drinking a couple Trulies, as you can see. Had a couple at dinner. This isn't all of them I've had, but what I will say is never in my existence did I think from Madden 21 the Chiefs' success could somehow get worse in Madden 22. Maybe Payne could prove me wrong, but when he joined the league, Ben was like, Payne taught me how to play Madden. He's way better than me. And
did he say that?
A couple losing seasons later, I'm pretty sure he said that. A couple losing seasons later, and that didn't come true. Payne, good luck.
Yeah, and I gotta say, the P rebrand to Payne is already going better than the Taint rebrand to Dealing Death. So he's already succeeding in one facet. Let's go ahead and move forward to the Los Angeles Chargers. The person that Hero Austin's going to hate the most for snagging him right before he did, and that's Justin, able to go ahead and secure the Los Angeles Chargers there with the second overall pick. Connor, your thoughts?
Very solid roster, really good defense, especially. I just would love to see Justin compete here at some point, on a level higher than just winning his division. I don't know. I'm a little loopy, as y'all can tell. I'm kind of fading away here, but they've got a lot of weapons. I don't necessarily understand why Justin had them number one. Although they are a solid Madden roster. I don't quite understand what Justin was thinking there. I'm sure we'll hear in the divisional interview coming up in a minute. But I just have so little respect for Justin as a user that I can't even really. I just have a big shrug about this. Like, that's really where I'm coming from here.
Cody.
Yeah, this is a bit confusing. There was a lot of speculation in some Xbox parties today on who Justin was going to take. A lot of us thought maybe Cardinals. A lot of us thought maybe Chiefs. A lot of us thought maybe Ravens, because he would want a already established, good, maybe potentially superstar quarterback. I think Herbert probably still potentially will be superstar, being that he won Rookie of the Year. I think he has a very good shot at being superstar. But this is a very interesting choice at number 2. I'm assuming obviously this was his number 1 choice.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is interesting. Not because the Chargers are bad, and not because I think it's a dumb decision. It's just not what I would have picked for Justin and his strengths.
Yeah, I mean, is Eckler really going to carry him like Jonathan Taylor did and Aaron Jones? We'll see. We'll see. So far his division's not that spectacular, as we've seen in past for Justin not getting the top end divisions. Clearly, you could see Connor and I didn't pick his division for him like we promised we would. So, let's go ahead and move on to the last.
I see a couple of spatterings that they think Cody Raiders. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we shall see who's taking Las Vegas over, and I tell you, it's not Cody. It's actually Kumar, who was able to go ahead and come on late towards the end of last year, able to secure them. Raiders at the 28th selection. I think that's a pretty good steal there for Kumar. Let's go ahead and go over to Connor. Your thoughts?
Very good stuff for Kumar. I mean, there aren't a lot of playmakers necessarily on the defensive side. They did sign Yannick Ngakoue, but that's about it as far as changing up the defense. And, you heard what Morty just said in that interview that he just did, the Robe interview, which still just has me all titillated. That is just not a great Madden defense. And, there aren't a lot of explosive offensive users in this division, but even still, even with that in mind, you want playmakers on the defense side of the ball, and he doesn't have a ton of that. The speed of Henry Ruggs is still going to be a factor, even though he was, a little underwhelming in real life in his rookie season. He's still going to have that speed, and speed kills, speed over everything. I'm curious with Kumar because he really came on late. He really had a great last season of that cycle. He looked incredible against Dan in that divisional round. He was throwing succulent dots all over the place. Will that be the Kumar we see heading into next cycle? Or will it be more of kind of the inconsistent Kumar that we saw the rest of the cycle? Because if it's the former, then Kumar's running this division straight out. I don't think that's particularly controversial. But if it's the latter, then this becomes a very, very interesting division because you can see anyone of Phil, Justin, or Kumar winning this depending on the year. So I'll be curious to see how this goes.
Cody?
Yeah, I agree. I think this is Kumar's got to be feeling good. That's it. The Raiders are by no means a bad team. They're not an elite team, but I think they have a lot of youth you can build up. And so he's got to be feeling good. And I agree. I think I have the same sentiment as Connor in terms of what Kumar do we see. From my experience, when I played Kumar, this was before Bean had all the good abilities or a bunch of good abilities. Kumar was a very stout defensive user. He could stop you on the defensive side of the ball. He could play defense. His issue was offense. And so I think that's going to be the question mark for me is it Derek Carr? Does he get rid of Derek Carr and move on to somebody else? So how is that offense going to go for Kumar in this division? And in general, I think this is a very interesting division just, off the top here. I think really there's not a clear favorite. I mean, the people that want to say Justin's the clear favorite, yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think any of these guys besides Payne, Phil, Justin, Kumar really are right here. They're neck and neck in terms of who can win the division.
I'm a little perturbed at Justin already saying 3 years in a row he gets an easy division. So that bothers me a little bit. Especially
okay, I'm sorry. He has the biggest ego for someone who hasn't done jack shit in this league. Where does this come from for Justin?
Where's this at, Justin?
We talk exactly.
Justin, where's this?
Where is it?
Where's this at?
Guys, take it easy. I don't have one.
Just let me know.
I don't have one either, guys.
Just let me know.
Take it easy. But yeah, I don't think this is an easy division for him. And I'm speaking on Raiders as we were, I didn't get my thoughts on them. We saw Kumar able to go ahead and get Matthew Smith, a solid AI wide receiver, some good stats. I would expect Henry Ruggs with that speed to get similar greater stats than what Morty had him at. So I'd fully expect that to happen. And so we'll see. I think this would be a better division than people think. And let's go ahead. And I don't think we're going to have any coaches on this since Justin has his butt buddy is over. Phil is asleep. Payne is Ben's burner, so I don't think he can be on here. And Kumar, I'm not sure where he's at. So let's go ahead and move on to the NFC West then. Give him one more second here. I don't think anything's going to pop up. We'll go back if we need to. But let's go ahead and move to the NFC West. This is the very last division here before we go to the full recap.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. There's 4 users left, so let's see who they got. The first person. This is the surprise of the lottery. A new user getting a top 5 pick, able to go ahead and secure himself the Arizona Cardinals, and that's Caden with the 5th overall pick, able to get one of the better teams in the league. Connor, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, a lot of y'all may not have a ton of memory of Caden, but when he was here, I mean, this is a tough user, given the circumstances, with a very, very tough roster. Obviously one of the most versatile defenses in the league in terms of, multiplicity between the different players in terms of like what types of positions you can slot him into. Obviously, Isaiah Simmons is the, key force in there. He will be the fastest linebacker in the league, most likely, unless they like really give respect to some of these rookies, like Micah Parsons, for example. But, man, I mean, Caden's, this is going to be a competitor, in my opinion. Maybe not a Super Bowl competitor. I don't want to go that far yet without having, seen Caden play in the last 2 years. But based on what I remember from him in the Better League, this is a dangerous team will be moving forward, especially in the NFC. So look out, Better League. I guess that's all I can say.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to me here. I think, Caden is probably the biggest question mark heading into Madden 22 for Better League. He's a guy that's been in and out of the league a couple times. Really hasn't had a full cycle, I think, since like maybe Madden 18. I burped. And so really it comes down to, what are we going to get here out of Caden? Is he going to come out and compete? Is he just going to be a guy that's here for fun or whatever it is, not that there's nothing or anything wrong with that, to just, play your games and have fun by any means. So I think that's the big question mark. Is he going to come out, swinging, or is he going to come out a little flat-footed?
We shall see here in the next, month and a half to 2 months, whenever EA is able to go ahead and get that scouting out. But let's go ahead and move forward to the division mate, and that's over in Los Angeles. The Los Angeles Rams were taken by person who's sitting here in this party. That's Mr. Cody Youngson, able to go ahead and secure the Los Angeles Rams, his number one overall team with the 3rd overall pick. Connor, your thoughts on your former division mate able to secure the Rams?
Boy, oh boy, I'm scared of this defense in this man's hands. I mean, obviously he had the Rams among the top teams in the league. I don't remember exactly where, Cody. You can, say that during your piece, but golly, dude. I mean, the Rams are an instant Super Bowl competitor within this NFC. Obviously, Cody had a great cycle last season with the Cincinnati Bengals. I think it's going to be less of a rebuilding process with this Rams team than it was, with the Bengals team in Madden 21. I mean, Cody's just feeling himself. I'm done, Cody. Go ahead.
I mean, well, it's just, I talked to my guy for him. He's heading out to LA. He's got his chain. He's got his glasses. We're ready to go out here in LA. Okay, we're ready to go. And that's all I'll say for now. Once we get to the, I might be the only one that's joining, but the whole coach breakdown. But that's all I got to say. Dontrell Borum, head coach, ready to go.
All right, well, that's the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, solid team for you to go ahead and secure them. Obviously, you got yourself a pretty solid defense out there, Donald Jalen Ramsey. I'll be curious to get your thoughts here at the end here on what you're going to do with Matthew Stafford after maybe year one. But let's go ahead and move it to the next team, which is the San Francisco 49ers. Very excited that this user was able to go ahead and secure them, even though he got a late pick with the 16th overall selection. Ryan able to secure his favorite team with the San Francisco 49ers. Connor, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, all I really have to say about this user team matchup is that it's always great when people get their favorite teams. We've seen a whole lot of that heading into the cycle, and we see another one here with Ryan getting the 49ers. I'm sure he's going to be fired up to be a part of it. He was a Hang in There Bud award contender for a reason. You know, I don't know how competitive he's going to be, especially with two, you know, I mean, one elite user in Cody and then one at least very solid user in Caden. So this is already kind of a tough division for him without even knowing who the Seahawks are. Although I guess we know, you know, do the math on your own, people. But yeah, I'll be interested to see how competitive he is. You know, this is a team with a lot of weapons, especially on defense. You know, it's like I've said about a couple other teams. You know, decently old, but at least the first couple seasons, you can really make something happen. You know, a lot of impact players on both sides of the ball. So I'm curious to hear, especially what he does with the what he does. You know, whether he starts Trey Lance or Garoppolo, and then just what he decides to do with his team. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Cody.
Yeah, I think this will be interesting. I'm excited as a fellow division brother. We're rerunning the Madden 20 division a little bit here. Ryan was in that NFC East when I took over the Giants. And so I'm excited, you know, like I echo what Connor was saying. I think, you know, whenever a guy gets his team, it makes it more exciting, gets you a little bit more fired up, makes you want to win even a little bit more. And so I'm excited to see what happens.
Awesome. Very happy for Ryan to get them. It's a very good team for him to take in the 16th overall spot, get himself a rookie quarterback he can attempt to develop. We'll see how quickly he blames him for his losses, but let's go ahead and move on. This user's been waiting patiently. The very last user to be announced. He's already in here because he knows he's here, and that's Mr. Chapter Roll. We'll go ahead and secure the Seattle Seahawks with the 29th overall selection. Connor, your thoughts on the Seahawks team?
Go Hawks, baby. I'll be rooting for you, Chapter Roll. You know, obviously, you know, one of the very best wide receiving duos in this league. You know, DK Metcalf is going to be an incredible deep threat. Tyler Lockett, obviously, Chris Carson in terms of running the ball, Russell Wilson. As far as specifically the starting lineup goes of the you know, Seattle offense, it's going to be a very, very solid one to use. You know, Chaparral can really get things going in the offensive side of the ball. I say this as a Seahawks fan, couple really good defensive pieces. You know, Bobby Wagner, Jamal Adams. Other than that, it's a little rough. It's a little rough up here in Seattle. So it's going to take a bit of rebuilding. It's going to take a bit of, you know, both deving some of these rookie players and, you know, building through the draft and through trading. I know Chappell's capable of it. He just made the playoffs. You know, I'm going to give him full respect for that playoff run he made. So looking forward to it, man. This is a good division too. You know, we'll see how it goes.
Cody.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is, I'm excited for Chapter. I mean, you know, Russell Wilson's always going to be a problem. There's some pieces on this team. Excited to see what Chapter does with it. Obviously, had the Texans last year, a little bit of a worse roster. And so I think, you know, I think this is going to be interesting to see what Chapter does here. I think he's got a lot more potential than maybe he did last year.
Yeah, I mean, able to go ahead and pick up a Seattle team that is, you know, more talented than what's warranted at the 29th spot. Take over Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf. It's got some solid players there on defense and everything like that. 12th man. Their M factor should be good. I don't remember what it is, but considering it's one of the best home field advantages, I'd assume they'd have a better one. But now we are loaded up with a bunch of the users that are in here that are in this division. Let's start off with Mr. Chapter Roll. Chap, your thoughts on being announced last and getting the Seattle Seahawks?
Best roster I've had to start with. I thought for sure it was Texans again. You know, and I wouldn't have been that upset about it being 29th. But I'm happy. Not the best roster that I could have had. I thought it was, you know, projections, I was like top 5. You know, I thought I was going to end up with KC, which is, you know, my teams you can see behind me. But whatever, we'll let somebody else mess them up. But I like it. You know, you got DK. You know, like I need like a fast receiver like that, just with the way I play. And, you know, the second loudest stadium in the NFL. And you got, you know, all that bullshit coming in next year. So I'm excited. I'm pleasantly surprised given the shitty draw and the fact that Dan threw a bunch of my balls away. So
confirmed.
Yeah.
Actually, yep, confirmed. I've been there. He did that to me last year, and he made up for it for me this year. Give me the 4th overall. Chap, I got to say, you know, speaking of, you know, rankings and divisions, and I think I might have to redo my rankings of better leaguers as far as best looking better leaguers, because I'm seeing the space can right now, Chap, and damn, you looking good, brother. So I appreciate you coming on. Oh yeah, hell yeah. I'm able to go ahead and get Seattle over under Russell Wilson 30 picks. What are you thinking?
Over. I think I heard the question. Over picks for sure.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and move to Caden. Caden joining back in Better League for the first time in a little bit. Caden, able to go ahead and you're able to steal a top 5 pick in the lottery, and then you're able to go ahead and get the Arizona Cardinals. Your thoughts?
I'm stoked to get them. As soon as Tyrell called this morning and told me that Cody was probably going to be in my division, I can't lie to you, I was hoping I was going to be the Panthers. But after being them, I'm glad to see Cujo's in my division. I know Cujo in real life as well as Tyrell, so it'll be nice to get to play him twice a year. Hopefully I can steal one from Cody, but other than that, it's a kick-ass production. Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for doing this shit. So Better League's the best, no doubt. Since I've been gone, I've been in a few leagues, and nothing comes close to y'all doing this stuff. So keep it up.
Appreciate it, man. Your thoughts on that Arizona Cardinals team? I mean, you steal Kyler Murray, Isaiah Simmons, this awesome roster.
Isaiah Simmons is one of my favorite players to come out in years.
You Clemson fan?
I'm stoked. Yeah, I am a Clemson
fan.
I
saw you asking for Travis Etienne in the chat. I was like, he must be a Clemson
fan. Yeah, I'm stoked to get him. I probably ain't gonna move him back to safety. Is that allowed? I don't remember some of that kind of stuff, but I'll probably end up taking him out of linebacker and moving him to a user safety. Other than that, Kyler, stoked about getting Kyler. Probably try to make a few trades. Maybe I know my offensive line is completely terrible, so I'm gonna have to try to do something about that. But other than that, it's a pretty solid roster. And like you said, I don't know how the ball system worked or if I had 1 or 2 or whatever, but to get pick 5 and get such a good team and Tyrell get 30 after being here for years is pretty crazy.
It is crazy, absolutely. Let's go over to Cody. Cody, your thoughts on this division and your team?
I think this week, here's the thing. I'm excited for this Rams team. Put a lot of thought into this. I heard King talking, or I saw King talking in the chat and saying how really, I've never had a good roster from day one. In Madden 18, I had the 49ers, weren't very good. Madden 19 had the Bills. They were okay. They had Josh Allen. Madden 20, I didn't join the league till late, had the Giants. Obviously last year, took the Bengals. Worked out well, but still not the best roster. I said, you know what, Cody? It's time to take a good roster and see what we can do. It's time to take a good roster and see what we can do. And so, obviously we start with Matt Stafford. I did the whole rookie quarterback thing last year, so I start with a veteran quarterback that I can use for at least the season. And then if I need to move on from him, I can draft a quarterback. Obviously, I'm going to have to put my GM cap on a little bit because obviously the Rams have basically no draft picks for a couple of years, I'm pretty sure. And so going to have to figure that out a little bit. But I'm excited. We got an elite D-line with Aaron Donald. We got an elite DB in Jalen Ramsey. Really, that's better than anything I've ever started with in BL. And so let's see, boys. Got the chain on. Dontrell Borum sent me the sunglasses, and head coach DB's ready to go out here in LA.
The chat's a big fan of Chap Face Cam, and we also got a shout out to Caden Austin saying looking good. Caden,
what's up, baby boy?
Yeah,
what's up, Austin?
Nobody's talking about Cody looking good. That's a little disappointing. But nobody's commenting on his glasses. So.
Yeah, they're haters.
I respect it.
They're haters. But here's the thing. The thing.
Yeah, there it is. I will say, Alex did mention that you sounded
the
just
ring
like.
talks.
You said you just sounded just like the impression that I do of you when you started talking a second ago. It was pretty spot on, actually. There's a wedding ring for Chap. Congratulations. That's a lucky girl. I'm going to have to let Becca know when she watches this back later that Chap is taken. So all the good-looking guys are taken in the league, so she'll have to suffer. Caden, Chap, I appreciate you guys both coming on here on this. Taking the ring off for her? All right, then. I don't know how your wife feels about that, but I appreciate Caden and Chap coming on here. I appreciate you guys both. We're going to go to the recap here in a second.
And let me just say something real quick before I get to the recap. And this is the only time, I do a lot of these Better League Network productions. This is the only time you're ever going to hear me say this. Can we get a sub train going, please? Because think of all the effort that Dan and Austin put into the lottery. Think of, everything that we've done. It's a blank slate. This is the best time of any Madden cycle. Everyone's 0-0. Everyone's got their new teams. You can see it up there. I'm gifting 5 subs right now. Let's get it going.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it.
Keep going.
As there's a gifted sub from Dan, and now Cody's going to go ahead and get in there and give some subs. Connor with 5 gifted subs here. So that is going to go off here for a few seconds. We're rocking. We're going to get close to at least 80 subs, and we started at 14 subs today. Quick math, that is 66
And can
subs.
I say really quick, I almost needed to excuse myself when I saw Chap's face. Golly. I mean, woo!
I saw Chap's face, and it was like, and then Connor was in the back like, so completely understand. Little Alex popping out with a gifted sub to Greg Time. Oh, Greg Time, a former boy of mine, man. Appreciate Greg Time out there. If he's even watching right now, I'm not sure if he is, but here's the recap here for the divisions and conferences. Little Alex says, my girlfriend got a sub. Let's go, baby. Yes, sure did. We're gifting so many subs right now. It's out of this world. I appreciate every single one of you. Morty gifting another 5 subs. So Twitch has got to be confused.
Keep it going, though.
You're gifting more subs than you have followers. Twitch is saying right now. Caden says, best league around, 100%. Appreciate you all, but the stream is not over yet. As we're going to do the recap here as we see AFC, NFC. I just want to we're going to start off with Connor. Let's get your overall thoughts. I want to hear what you think as far as the balance or any other thoughts you may have about what we're looking at right now.
Well, let me say this, and you'll obviously hear more of my takes once the team reveal production thing goes live in about an hour on YouTube. But I think these I think these conferences are definitely much more, at least on paper, a good bit more balanced than they were last season. You've got some dogs on both sides of the aisle there. Obviously within the AFC, Austin's going to continue to be a perennial powerhouse, a perennial threat, especially with that Patriots team. He's still going to be motivated. You've got guys like, really the entire AFC North could compete any given day. King's a competitor. Cloud and Ben are both competitors. There are no competitors in the West, especially not in LA. But then you go to the NFC. You've got 3 great users in the NFC East. A couple dogs, Alex, Dan in the North. I hate to say it about myself, but I have won a Super Bowl, so myself and Morty, potentially Finn on the South, and then of course Cody Youngson with those Rams is gonna be tough. So the more I look at it, very very balanced conferences, and that's gonna make for a great cycle.
Cody, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you've got. When I look at this, definitely, last year I think probably off the cuff it felt like AFC heavy. We had that AFC West that was pretty stacked. You had Austin, myself in the AFC. And that's not even to name others. Obviously, Connor was able to get a ring and all that stuff, and we had and that's not any disrespect to the NFC whatsoever. It just off the cuff looked like AFC was probably had a little bit, more power, if you will. And, I guess, if you will, that kind of, proved true with the amount of rings, but, or not, if maybe it's just because Boston was a beast. But regardless, I really like what I'm seeing here. You've got, I think, a really interesting NFC East. And AFC East, off the top, you think probably Austin's 1, Kings 2. And then maybe Cam and Fern are fighting for 3, but that's not to say either of those guys can't fight for 2. In the NFC East, obviously you've got a really interesting division. I think you got to give the nod to little Alex, but you definitely can't sleep on Chase or Lucky. Then we go over to the AFC North, and in my opinion, it's a little bit of a toss-up because it depends on what version of all of these users you're going to get. If you get a good Duhooty, you can't sleep on him. You get a good Hero, you can't sleep on him. You get the same consistent C-Mass from last year, can't sleep on him. You get Steel when he's at his best, you can't sleep on him. I mean, that really is going to be a tough division. One of those guys, I'm sure, every year, because one of those guys every year is gonna miss the playoffs, and that's heartbreaking because all of those guys could make the playoffs in probably another division. Head over to the NFC North. I think you got to give the nod to Dan, but you really can't sleep on Alex or Boz either. Then going over to the AFC South. I think you got to give the nod to Ben, but Cloud can get in there. Tank keeps getting better. Kook is any given Sunday user. Then we head over to the NFC side of the South. You've got Connor, Morty, Finn. In my opinion, with Gamble, no disrespect to Gamble, but Connor, Morty, and Finn is one of the more exciting divisions, in my opinion, of just really a toss-up of what could happen there. And I'm really excited throughout the cycle to see how that NFC South breaks down. Then on the AFC West side, that to me, that's a toss up as well. I really don't know who to give the edge to. I mean, maybe you could say Justin, but really Justin typically has had pretty garbage divisions and then really underperforms in the playoffs as well. So, I wouldn't argue giving the edge to Kumar or Phil. Then we hover to the West, and I think that's a really competitive division as well. A lot of good users over there. And I think, it's really any given Sunday on that side on the NFC West.
Yeah, I don't believe that. But let's go ahead. I appreciate you trying to be respectful, but yeah, I think if you had maybe a few sips of it, truly, you'd be talking in a different conversation about the West there in the NFC. I appreciate that whole breakdown. I mean, I'm with Connor. I feel like this is a pretty balanced as far as AFC, NFC. Hopefully, we'll see the same kind of balance when it comes to Super Bowls. I mean, we're still obviously a month and a half at least out before we can go ahead and start Madden, but. A reminder to everybody that's still in the chat, please do not change your name in chat until tomorrow morning. When you wake up in the morning, feel free to change your name, but at least for the people that have not been able to watch live, give them the opportunity to watch live tonight from beginning to end, aka the luckies of the world who certainly deserve that opportunity to enjoy this as much as everybody that's watched in here. So please do not change your name in the Slack chat, any sort of spoilers in the Slack chat until tomorrow morning. And then I would post this little graphic tomorrow morning so everybody can see it for the future. Let's get the closing thoughts here before I thank everybody and their mother for their gifted subs and donations. Taint did donate and saying $10 saying Ben is on the downtrend. I believe that. Let's go ahead and let's get the closing thoughts to Connor here. Connor, your closing thoughts, bud.
Listen, I mean, Madden 21 is the best cycle we've ever had. The content is just to a whole nother level now, thanks to guys like CMAS, thanks to guys like Cody, thanks to, all of you who make the Better League Network such a great thing. And that's not even to mention, Dan has put together so much kind of behind the scenes work for us. So thank you all so much for that. It's great. As I will give myself credit here and say, probably the original content creator of this league, way back in Madden 17, it's great to see us continue to take those jumps, continue to make those leaps as a truly elite CFM. That's just great to be part of. So thank you all for that. Excited to compete, man. There really is not a bad division. Every division has at least one, very solid, very competitive user, if not 2 or 3, or in the case of the AFC North, 4. So I'm just really, really excited to get the cycle going. That's probably the most competitive we've ever been as a league. I have no idea what's going to happen season 1. I don't think anyone does. So it's just a great time to be in the Better League, man. And I'm excited to, when does Madden 22 come out? I'm ready. I'm ready.
Absolutely. Cody, your final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be another great cycle. I really think we're just going to continue to trend upwards. Look forward to, I know a lot of people have been missing this face. Look forward to Madden 22.
Yes.
The Cody streams,
green screen,
the face cams will be back. We're gonna dial up some heat. So get ready. With that back, I'm probably gonna dip into commentating some games. The content in Madden 22 is going to be at an absurd, unreal level, and I really hope everyone here in this league that just got a team isn't thinking, "Oh, I'll be here for a couple seasons." But I hope every single person is thinking, "I can't wait to play every single season of this cycle, have some damn fun, and go to work."
Damn straight, Cody. Well said. I appreciate you saying that. This is definitely, I expect Madden 22 to be the next best cycle for Better League, as you both agree that Madden 21 is the best cycle. I wasn't here for any of the other ones, but it was definitely the best cycle I've had in a CFM. So I appreciate that. Questions in the chat. When do ratings drop? Ratings start on the 26th of July. They will start the ratings dropping, so you'll be able to see. There'll be some content in the future on that, I'm sure, up until our start time, whenever that is in September. But I appreciate everybody. Connor, Cody, thank you both so much for being a part of this production, which in my opinion is the best production Better League Network is put together, was Dan said. Way too early Super Bowl
Dan says way too early Super Bowl prediction.
Whatever you guys want to do. Whatever you guys want to do.
I think we got to do it. Can you bring that screen up again?
Yeah. Okay. So he wants it from us.
Yeah, he wants it from us.
Whoops.
Bring that screen up again.
Yeah. Hold on, buddy. CMAS setup. Here we go. Here's the full screen. I'll probably start off. Just so I'll give you guys a second to think about it. I'm gonna say as far as the first season, early Super Bowl predictions, and I give this guy a ton of shit all last cycle, but he proved himself to me. So from representing the AFC, I'm gonna go with little Alex. I think he's starting off with a really, really good defense, and I think he'll be competent enough on offense to be able to potentially push for a season 1 Super Bowl. So I'd say little Alex would represent the NFC. AFC wise, I feel like it's too soon for Austin. He didn't represent the AFC in the first season with the Patriots. He needed a little bit of time to get rolling there, so I don't know if it'll be him. I'm confident in myself. Now that division might be a little tough, but I feel like I'm one of the better users with one of the best rosters. So I'd say season 1 it'd be me and little Alex facing it off. Let's go with Connor with your thoughts next.
I got you. Well, I have this written down. I got prepared for this. I'm gonna go with a little bit of a, not a toxic matchup necessarily, but one that my two co-hosts will be very interested in here. I am going with a CMAS Cody Super Bowl. I do think it's the best combination of team and user here moving forward. Obviously, Austin's gonna. This is not Austin. I promise I'm not disrespecting you, but this is just a season 1 thing in terms of CMAS having the way better roster season 1, and I was an AFC homer last cycle. Cody was an AFC homer along with me. Now we're going straight NFC, baby. I'm going with Cody Youngson getting his 3rd ring. I'm going with him beating CMAS in Super Bowl 34.
Cody.
Yeah. What's funny is when you loaded this up, I looked at both sides and I said CMAS Cody as well. I gotta give myself a little bit of props. I definitely think there's some tough players out here in this division. With you got the Connors, the Dans, the Alexes, the little Alexes. But I think, if you look at in terms of roster as well as user skill and looking at season 1, I got to give myself the nod in the NFC. And then I agree with everything in the AFC. I think, CMAS, in terms of what you did last year, if you can continue to repeat that, you've got the best roster, plus, repeating what you did last year. In my opinion, it's CMAS Cody.
I feel bad I didn't say Cody to be a clean sweep, but nothing but respect to Cody there. And now I'm a little nervous that you guys both picked me. But the other thing is if you're in the AFC, you better get it in season 1 and season 2, because Austin will be coming in hot, I'm sure. If not season 1, if not season 1, it'll be further on. Dan crying in the chat. I think he was really hoping for his name to pop up. Dan, I just don't know if that roster can get you there just yet. With the Kirk Cousins, we'll see, but we'll look forward to that. But my final thoughts here, like we were talking about before, let me go back to full screen here. But I appreciate everybody in this league right now. I mean, we started off with 14 subs today, and we're at 88 at this point. I'm not sure if it's updated yet.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that's
didn't know that.
So that means we've received 74 subs today.
That's amazing.
Yeah, whenever Twitch decides to go ahead and pay out on that, I'll make sure that Dan, Cody, and Connor get their pieces, because this has been a group production for sure.
This is what we should do right here. No, this is just what we should do. Send these out.
Send some rings out for last cycle. Alex, send me the bill. As long as Dan's okay with that, because he's not in this chat not in this video to speak for himself, but. Yeah, send me the bill, Alex, if you want to do that. But yeah, absolutely. This is in my opinion, going to be our best cycle coming up. I'm looking forward to it. We got a little bit of time, so plenty of content to come. Maybe some other streams out there, some UFC, maybe some golf, maybe some baseball. We'll see. Better League Network does a little bit of everything here. But I appreciate every single one of you for coming in and tuning into this stream. In my opinion, like I said before, I think it was one of the best Better League productions of all time. The credit scene's not popping up in here like I wanted it to, so I'm just going to go ahead and this is going to take way too long to thank everybody. I know I saw Alex's name a lot. I saw Finn's name a lot. I saw Taint's name a lot. I saw Morty's name a lot. Cam, obviously, I saw his name a lot. Barbarossa with a follow. I know they popped in here. There's another follow that we had. Soul Drive hit us with that was a gift that's up. But either way, appreciate every single one of y'all for coming in here. Thank you so much for supporting. That is definitely the most subs we've ever gotten in a day. I don't think we've ever had 88 subs at one time. So big shout out, especially since there's only 32 people in the league. So that's pretty impressive. So thank you all so much. We had a solid 30 viewers the whole way through, except for just now when everybody's tuning off at the end. They don't want to hear CMAS bitch or talk a lot. But let's go ahead and sign it out. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll have this posted up tomorrow morning. We'll have this posted up here as soon as I'm able to go ahead and copy and paste it in the chat for anybody that hasn't had a chance to see it. So again, do not post your team names or spoilers. Let everybody that hasn't had the opportunity to watch this live watch it. Thank you all so much. Have a fantastic rest of your night.
I got